friends from everywhere. I am Gary, glad you're with me. Pull up a chair, we're gonna look at this free show. A tool to serve your church each day, to help you praise in every language, to lift his name in every place. You are welcome here, my family, from every nation, every land. We are one in Christ together, reaching out with open hands. If your heart is for his kingdom, come and join in what he's done. Welcome to FreeShow Friday. Let's lift high the Holy One. My dream is people empowered, across the earth his glory shown. Every screen and every session, pointing weary hearts back home. Write your questions in the comments, share this hope with someone new. We're building more than just a playlist, we're building lives in love and truth. You are welcome here, my family, from every nation, every land. We are one in Christ together, reaching out with open hands. If your heart is for his kingdom, come and join in what he's done. Welcome to FreeShow Friday. Let's lift high the Holy One. From the north and south, from the east and west, every tongue and tribe, let our Savior be confessed. If this blesses you, pass the blessing on, till the whole world sings of the risen Son. Oh yeah. You are welcome here, my family, from every nation, every land. We are one in Christ together, reaching out with open hands. If your heart is for his kingdom, come and join in what he's done. Welcome to FreeShow Friday. All the glory to God's Son. God bless you, my brother, my sister, till we meet again this day. Welcome to FreeShow Friday. Jesus be our only way.
As the preaching minister at our church, one thing I don't want to spend any time thinking about: presentation software.
What I love about FreeShow is in many ways its ease of use.
Hey, I'm Jared Ellis from Fellowship Regional Church in Iola, Kansas.
My name is Paul Hubart. I'm the lead pastor of Southside Christian Church in Fort Pierce, Florida.
In working with church apps, when FreeShow was brought onto the scene, it absolutely took over for us.
We're a church of roughly about 150 folks. I'm not super technologically advanced, but I'm able to put together displays that are visually engaging and look top-notch really every Sunday. Because of the versatility of FreeShow and really the strength of the program.
With FreeShow, we've been able to grab somebody, and because it's so incredibly user-friendly, we can teach them so quickly how to operate the program.
We had an issue with FreeShow that I was struggling to figure out.
So we sent an email, and immediately somebody gets back to us.
And I was actually able to get in touch with the creator of FreeShow directly.
I just need it to work. And that wasn't happening with the presentation software we were using before. So for us, yeah, FreeShow's incredible.
Would we continue using FreeShow if budget wasn't an issue? And yeah, absolutely we would.
If money was no object and it came down to whether or not we were going to use FreeShow or maybe try to use a more expensive program, there's no way in the world that we would go with something else.
What is good, everybody? Welcome, welcome, welcome. I am Gary B. Jr., your host today of Free Show Friday and your media consultant. Let's see here. We got some folks on. So glad you guys got to jump on. Man, I was having some technical difficulties today. I just woke up from a nap. Me and my wife, we had a good long morning. Got to go out on a morning walk and get some breakfast. And got home, took a nap, and woke up and set up everything. Everything seemed to be working pretty good till I got to this whole YouTube studio piece with my live stream because I did some I was doing some testing this week with the RTMP streaming stuff. And so I kind of messed stuff up and forgot that I did. So forgive me for getting on a little late with the intro video, but I was working to figure that out. And so it was a lot of fun to figure it out. It should be good, but I think I had to delay my response or my delay on my stream. So you guys may see me respond a little bit slower than normal based on that. But I'm glad that you guys are jumping on. Let's talk about who we got on today. We got Jim Lawyer in the house saying hello all from Dayton, Ohio. Welcome, my friend. We got Mark Smith, M. Smith 4241 from Kalispell, Montana. And let's see here. Welcome, welcome. We got Larry Sweeting from the great state of Kentucky in Louisville. I said, look, I got it right, man. I got it right. Welcome, welcome. Let's see here. We got Mr. Terry Ray joining us all the way from ATL. Look, joining us. I'm right here in ATL with him, so I'm right there. But you guys, he's joining us, from all over. You guys all over the world, so that's a good thing. Mr. Terry Ray liked the latest excerpts that we posted. I pulled out just some excerpts from our questions from last week from Free Show Friday, and I'll do my best to get those out sooner than later. So they're not going to be the most polished, and that's something that I've never really made a focus of on this channel. My goal with you guys is to really help equip as quickly and best as I can, and so live streaming has been a really big part of that process to where I know I'm answering questions that you all have by being able to make those videos real time with you guys. We can address those questions and get answers and even go into those questions that come through from the community. I just think this is a really good way to do it, to see it live so everybody can kind of chime in, because I think we all add something to the community in terms of just in this small group on YouTube, but to the greater community all over the world with those folks on different platforms and coders and all kinds of stuff. Everybody's working together to figure out ways to improve this program. So I'm excited about that. We got Tisa John Mark. Welcome, 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 my friend, Mr. John Mark in the house. Let's see here. Make sure to tell everybody where you're coming in from, John Mark. You all over the world. So I think last time we saw you, you were in Nairobi, but I think you said you were somewhere else before that, and I can't remember where it was. So let everybody know where you're joining in from. Um, SBU Media in the house, jumping in from South Africa. Welcome, 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 my friend. Um, let's talk about what's been going on, you guys. What's been going on in your ministries and your meetings, your presentations. What have been some of the most clutch tools or features of Free Show that you use the most? What are some of the most clutch tools of Free Show? And then make sure to post any questions as well. I'm here for all of that. So I want to make sure I capture any questions you guys have about Free Show. But I want to talk about what's been the most clutch tools. And I'm going to talk about it I know from me, from my standpoint, I've been testing out the RTMP and the audio routing with the new beta 2. It's not the new beta, but it came out last week. Probably right around this time. It might have been early morning on Friday, but that audio routing feature has been super clutch for me. I've been loving that one. And then the other thing about Free Show that I like is I've been really enjoying the OSC integration. I think Atisa, John Mark, when we were helping you out with that last week, I think, right, with your OSC setup. But man, I really, really like that. And then I'm trying to think about, for me, the other thing I've been doing, not necessarily related just to Free Show, but just to my live stream, setting up my companion buttons has been clutch. I was running into an issue where I would forget to set up my projector screen in OBS, and I say my projector screen. It's a unique problem, but mostly because I try to record all of my screens at the same time. So I record my Free Show screen, I record my computer screen, I record my Free Show program feed as well. And so that's something that I need. My Rodecaster video, even a ATEM Mini ISO can do something like that. But the Rodecaster video does it in a way that I like it a little bit better. Like I said, just because I can plug up my microphone to it a lot easier and have that quality sound. So that's some of the stuff that stands out to me. But let me know in the chat, what are some of the things that have been clutch for you guys that you love about using Free Show that have come in handy? What are some of those things that have come in handy on Free Show? Let me know you guys are hearing me, because I don't see anybody responding to me, but I want to make sure you guys can see and hear me what's going on. And like I said, I'm saying that because I've been having those those issues. So let me know if you guys can hear me at the least. Put it in the chat so we can go forward today. But uh, it's gonna be a fun day. I got a hair from my lip, I guess, or something like that. But um, what are some things you guys have questions about is what I want to know. So let me pull up my doc here. Let's see here. See if it's gonna make me log in. Nope, I'm good. I'm in. 5x5. Jim, what's that mean? I'm 5x5. Okay. Mark says I'm loud and clear. Awesome, awesome. Jim, I'm not that cool or hip. Let me know what 5x5 means. I'm completely lost. Not because of you, but just probably just me. All right. Let's see here. If you guys don't have any questions for me, let me see what we got going on in the community. We had a few things come up this week. If you have not already, let me pull up, going back to what Mr. Terry Ray was talking about. I posted about 3 videos just in the past 24 hours, I think. And if you guys haven't seen it, make sure to check it out. I think you'll like. It's just excerpts from last week for those who were on, but it's a really good reminder. It's kind of the way I look at it. It's a good reminder for you guys, and also for anybody else that jumped on or that wants to keep up with what's going on in Free Show. So that was the idea behind it, but I'll try to do the same, like I said, going forward again. But let me show you guys my screen here. And so these are just what I like to call Free Show Friday highlights. So you'll see that in the top corner. So if you see that, that represents that it was something from our Free Show Friday meeting. And so that's something that's pretty cool. And then the thing that stood out to me the most from that meeting was that program overview. I think we had somebody that was new last time. Hopefully they can jump on again. But one of the things they said, I don't know where to start. I don't even know what's going on with the program. And so I just kind of gave them a quick overview of what is going on in the program. It ended up being over 15 minutes long, which I did not expect, but hey, it worked out, hopefully. And then we also talked about a question somebody had about live camera in Free Show. but having lower thirds with that live camera. We talked about how to do that using overlays, which I think is really, really cool. Took me a second to get there, but I think it turned out really well because, like I said, my goal is to really help you guys understand how to navigate the program. And so I think I ran into a couple of problems with both of those videos, with the PowerPoint imports and the live camera feed. But seeing me work through it is something I think is going to be valuable for anybody, especially new to the program or trying something like this new for the first time. All right, let's see here. Everybody said they can hear me loud and clear, which is great. Mark says, where can I find the placeholders? Ooh, those are nice. I like the idea of the placeholders. Okay. I will show you. Let's talk about that. Let's see here. Make sure I didn't miss anything else. All right, so let me go to Mark's question and we're gonna get to Jim. I think Jim had a question in there as well. All right, you guys can see here I've been playing around with this audio routing thing. If you guys missed the in the lab on Monday, I talked a lot about this, but let me know if you guys have any other questions about the audio routing. I'm learning to love it and understand it better. That's kind of been the big thing for me, is trying to understand how to do it or make it work the way I want it to. Uh, I've been noticing an issue with my primary NDI being tied to two outputs. And so my primary NDI is a physical output and an NDI output. You'll see down here at the bottom left. But my NDI feed is just straight NDI. But I stream this one, usually to OBS, but I have to turn this one on as well to get the audio right now. So that's something that I noticed I've been trying to play with to figure out what's causing that. Haven't come up with a solution, but I want to give you guys a heads up. If you are trying to do 2-in-1, like one going to a physical and then one going to your OBS, you might run into that. And I ran into this last week and I just opened this one up and it works fine when it's just one output with one type, whether it's local or network, but it didn't work too well audio wise for my audio coming out when I did both a physical or a local output plus a network output. So let's talk about these placeholders real quick. So I'm gonna go to my show page at the top, and the idea of placeholders, and this is where I'm thinking you're talking about, I think what Mark asked. So if I go to my shows page here, you can see all your different shows, categories, I should say. You'll see all those there, all right? But there's another cool feature in the program called templates, all right? And so here's a Free Show Friday show. So I got this template and it defaults going into this folder that I was already in for August. So I hit enter and it has this stuff here, okay? Now, this stuff says opening session, what's new, Q&A, community questions, and then wrap up. All right. That's kind of a Free Show Friday outline of a show. If I go back though and I edit this template, just right click on it and say edit, you'll see here now that I have some options to add in things into the show. So I can select this and I can hit the little plus sign and then I can add a placeholder. And you'll see that placeholder goes in that section called what's new. I can go here and add another one for under Q&A, and in community questions, I can add another placeholder, and then wrap up, I can add another one. Yours might look something like opening announcements and then maybe worship. And so you might have multiple placeholders in there so you can add in multiple songs, right? And I'll show you how this works. All right, so let's say this was my service. This is literally my live stream, so it works out fine for me. And I'm editing a template, okay? So your placeholders are gonna be visible to edit and create inside of a template. That's the first thing. And I say template, a project template. So I can go back out, and now I've got this Free Show Friday still. I'm gonna go ahead and delete that old one I just made, this August 14th. We don't need that. That was just a basic pop-up, but I'm gonna do Free Show Friday again. And it shows up in my unlisted because I didn't select a particular folder. And now you'll notice I've got placeholders here. But let's say I want these placeholders to be filled in. So I'll say, what's new? I'm going to add in. So I can select the placeholder and it says, select the show that you want to put in there. And I can just go through and find a show. So I'll put in my begin shortly show. For Q&A, I'll act like this is worship. So I'll say, select a show. And I'm going to go to, I'll do a search for Firm Foundation. I'll do this one, select the show. I'm going to do Build My Life. And then for the last placeholder, I'll do another one and I'll do Agnes D. So that's my worship, okay? And I say my worship, the Q&A, but that's the placeholder being filled in. I'm not editing the template anymore. I'm now just building my show because I selected that template and it populates a project, okay? So I'm editing my project, I should say, not my show. and I can add these pieces in. And now this is what's going on for 814. And I can maneuver where I want this particular project to live. So I can drag it up. Say I want it to be inside of my August. And there it is now inside of August 814. I can rename that project, and I can say, let me right click on this again, rename. And I can say Free Show Friday 814. And it takes me right back in there. The only things that are placeholders now are the ones I left undone. But this is a project now that's been almost fully filled in. So I can say community questions. Let me add in something else here, just so we can look. Let's see here. Intro questions, goal questions. I don't know what. Let's see. Renew questions. I got all kinds of cool questions. Renew and worship questions. I'll put that in there. And then wrap up. Let's see if I got a closing show. We'll do closing. All right. This is a kid script that I was working on. All right. So I have a full show here, and all I did was use my placeholders that came from a pre-made template. Let's see here. Mark, does that answer your question? Okay, got the Mark got this. Okay, one place I did not look for the placeholder. So to get these templates, you guys, you got to hit the plus sign and then say create a new project template. All right, that's all I did. I just created a project template. I had a few of them down there already. And you can make your project template and add those placeholders real time when you make it. Okay, let's see here. No, it's not just you. Okay. Where can I find the okay? So Larry Sweeting was saying he's having a similar challenge with the maybe the NDI thing I was talking about. He said it's not just me. Jim says, is there any way to schedule and set up YouTube live stream from inside Free Show? Like schedule a date and time, thumbnail, etc., like StreamYard or EV Mux does. And the answer to that question, drum roll please, is not yet. Not that I know of. Okay, let's see here. Eco Mac M joining us from Nairobi, Kenya. Welcome, my friend. Thanks for joining us from Nairobi. I got to visit you guys a few years back. It's been like 4 years now, but I flew in there and we went to Nairobi. We flew into the Nairobi airport, and then we went to Kakamega, back to Nairobi, and then to Mombasa. So I love Nairobi, love the people. It's crazy busy on the streets. It's crazy busy, but it was cool, really cool. All right. So what I will say, Jim, aside from the thumbnail thing, okay, so you can make it work. It won't be like how it is on StreamYard, but I'm trying to think about scheduling and setting up a YouTube live stream. You could probably do it through Companion, like setting up a button that's gonna have you go live, but you would have to still have OBS, I think, because, well, no, I take that back. I take that back. I can't confirm it, but I'm testing out the RTMP setup, right? So you go to the settings and you go to outputs and you create a RTMP. I've been testing out this YouTube unlisted one. And so I've added in my stream URL and my stream key. I was testing out bit rates and things like that. So you can do all that part. So you can literally set up the stream. Now, what the thumbnail is going to look like is going to be something you have to predetermine in YouTube, on YouTube Studio, is my guess. Yeah, you would predetermine that on YouTube Studio. You couldn't do it directly from Free Show. At least you can't do it directly from Free Show right now. So if you go to YouTube Studio itself and then set up your live stream, like you just say go live and it'll say schedule a live stream. You can set up your custom stream key and all that good stuff and set up a live stream, like schedule it and have it have a thumbnail. And then every time you go live from that stream key though, it'll use that same thumbnail. So if you make it generic, just like a church generic thumbnail, right? Like a flyer or not flyer, but just a page that just says, hey, Grace Fellowship is going live or Grace Fellowship live. It is generic without a date on it or anything like that. You technically could go live from here every time. If I activate this here, you can just say go live by hitting that little button up there that says go live, and it'll automatically send the signal out live directly from that particular um, URL web, that YouTube page and that stream key. Does that make sense? So it's not exactly like StreamYard, because I know exactly what you're talking about there, where StreamYard is just a web-based interface, right? It does not, I say nearly, it doesn't say that serve the same function as FreeShow does, because FreeShow is designed for live, like online and live in person presentations, whereas StreamYard is just for online, right? It's just an online streamer, right? So that's the biggest difference with FreeShow. So it's in person mindset first. That's what it was first, an in-person meeting or in-house meeting. And then it's been recently added to have the RTMP functionality. Let's see here. Mark Smith says, or M. Smith says, got the audio routing working for the RTMP. The problem is when in the show, if you hit clear all, it mutes the audio sources. A pain while trying to stream. Oh, so Mark, on your end, how was your quality of your signal? Because my signal quality, I was having a lot of issues. It was looking super grainy. Um, so if you did the RTMP, did it look pretty normal for you in terms of your stream quality when you looked at it back on YouTube or Facebook or whatever it was? For me, mine was just horrible, and I was doing it unlisted, so I got a bunch of them unlisted, and I don't think that would cause the problem, but it was a pain. It was hard to look at. Okay, in terms of super low quality, I had it up to like 25 megabits per second or 25,000 kilobytes, kilobits per second, and it still was super low quality. I had it at 4K output. It was crazy. I was trying to do everything to figure it out. Um, Larry says, can you use the one primary for in-house and two NDI with both using audio to OBS when routing to the main, or is that what you have you have been having trouble doing? Okay, so let me break down that question. Larry be having those deep questions, boy. Okay, so he's saying, okay, can you use the one primary, which I have? I got my one primary. Let me turn off this. Oh, it's already here. Let me turn it off. So my one primary and the two NDI with both using audio to OBS. Yes, when routing to the main, or is that what you've been troubleshooting? So what I end up doing, um, just to shed some light on it, like I said, these are just my own problems, but I don't know that this is universal or not. So this is where you guys can help me out. So I'm gonna drag this over so you can see it a little bit better. Pull this over. All right, so for my primary, I have it going here from primary to my primary. I don't have it going to my mains just because I didn't want to hear it in my speakers. But what I ended up doing was I ended up sending it out to my speakers here just to make sure it was working right. But this wasn't on, so I'm gonna disconnect that. This was not on during my live stream. It was just going primary to primary. And when I played something, the audio levels showed up here and they showed up here. Okay. This is my channels in the middle, and then this is my outputs on this side. They played just fine. And then I had to turn on my NDI output in order to get the audio to come out, though, because even though I could see the audio in my primary, it was not playing through to OBS when I had my OBS source set to receive the primary NDI. Right, you see the little NDI tag there, and so there seems to be some type of breakup, like a yeah, I'm not sure what it maybe. Let me see here. There's no physical output for the primary. So this is you see the little screen there. That means it's like a real local output. Well, no, I'll take that back. That doesn't mean that, because this is all NDI. So it's not that. These are just outputs. These just represent outputs. These represent channels, right? So this is just the channel. I don't have anything special going on with it, but it would not send that signal to OBS until I enabled my NDI one output. That's just NDI. And when I did that, the audio in my OBS started to read and it started to play out loud. Okay. Which was kind of crazy. And I didn't even get to record it for you guys because I thought I was streaming, but I was having some issues with YouTube as well. Right. So that was a separate thing that I know from me testing RTMP stuff. But the audio routing thing was something I noticed well before I did that. Mr. Terry Ray says, is there a difference in actions you create in functions and slide actions? I'm asking because sometimes actions don't work. Maybe it's something I don't understand or I'm doing wrong. Ooh wee. Oh, let's have a discussion about actions. That's a fun one. Okay. So let's go here. Let me pull this over now. Let me make it so I can see it. Okay. So Mr. Terry Ray was asking about actions. Okay, so let's see here. Um, I got a lot of actions, you guys. Let me see. I'll do Free Show Friday. I got countdowns here. So let's see. So an action is basically anything that you want Free Show to do automated. Okay. You can find actions in a couple of different places. One of the places you can find actions is directly on a slide, and it will allow that slide to do some automated work. Now, my slides right here are all, let me pause that. My slides are actually, they are locked, so they're not going to play out. Let me go back to, if you go to media, you can right click. Let's see. I think I got them locked. That's my Free Show Friday. Is it the group? Oh, I locked the group. So my groups are locked. So I don't accidentally edit something. That was the main reason I did that. But you'll see that on the right, there's actions on these slides. So this slide has start a playlist. It has action to do some other things. These are all made from the functions tab though. Let me see if I got one that's not locked. So media systems one, media systems. Okay, so this is not locked. So if I right click on this slide, you'll see an option for actions called slide actions. And in here, you're going to see something that is called start actions. And start actions allow you to dictate what this slide does when it's started. Okay. When you start this slide, do you want something to happen? All right. And then below here are some other ones. So you can make it activate with a shortcut in terms of like setting a shortcut for that particular slide. When you click this shortcut, so if I pop it up, press any letter or key to assign, right? So to automatically trigger that slide. If you press the F key, right? I can do that. I'm not going to do that though. If I go right back here, oh, let's see. Is that playing? It's not playing audio. That's cool. I'll turn the audio off just to make sure it's not going to play audio. It's playing the video, but that's cool. All right. So slide actions though, you can have it activate on a MIDI signal to where it'll receive a MIDI signal from some source, and that'll trigger the slide. You can also do it to where it's going to have a timer to it, right? This one has an 8-second timer because you can see that check mark there. And you can see at the top left of the actual slide that it is 8 seconds, all right? And then you can make it go to start, which means it'll just go to the beginning of the show. Usually you'll do that on the last slide. And then you also have this option that says next on media finished. And what that means is usually you'll see that on videos. This, I put it on there, but it would do that if I just had the next slide timer where it's just on an 8-second timer. I don't need that on there specifically. It should go to the next without that, but I got them both on. But this start action option, okay, more actions. These are all automations as well, but this is more. So you can go here and you can see a list of things that you say, hey, when I get to this slide, I want to start this particular show. That's one thing. You can say, hey, when I get to this slide, I want to clear the background or clear the overlays. These are all actions that'll happen once this slide starts, okay? You can make it change your output or the stage output, for example. That's a really cool way to use this. If you have something specific on that slide, you want to change the way it looks in the stage. Maybe it's going from the prayer slide in your announcements to the announcement slide, okay? And maybe they're on the same show. You can make the announcement change the stage layout and pick the, a layout that's going to be more conducive for the person doing the announcements, right? That's an idea. Audio wise, you can do the same thing for if you wanted to trigger for worship. There's better ways to do it than doing it on the slide though. So I don't recommend it specifically for those situations with worship leaders and switching over to the pastor or the teacher, whoever's teaching. But you can also do audio changes, timer changes, and also just set other actions to run, which is really cool. So you can literally go to a slide with this slide action option and make it trigger another action that you've already created. And that action can be a combination of multiple different things. All right. So that's what slide actions look like in a nutshell. But the question was, how do they compare to what you can do with the functions tab down in the drawer? Let me pull this up. So in the functions tab, there's an option or a whole category called actions. And in here, you can organize your actions. So I got a bunch of tags for my actions. You can see that I can hit that little drop down arrow. You'll see all these different tags. Now, the reason I have all those tags is because I wanted to organize them. So tags are kind of like folders, right? Where they can kind of organize. So I got some game show actions here that says game show ABCD. I've got some, let's see here, some MIDI actions I made. These were me testing out some ideas um, compared to what you would see like in Pro Prisoner. I think there's oh, what's the name of that program? Ableton, I think. Ableton, where these are some of the main actions that you'll see for the MIDI, and I was just pairing them up to what you can do in FreeShow. And so that list is there, and I organized them as a MIDI list here. FreeShow Friday, I got a bunch of actions for FreeShow Friday, and I can toggle between it being in a grid view or a list view when you put it into a tag. Okay, so when you tag an action, you can do that. So this is an overview of actions, right? And so I've got a bunch of them. These turn into like a clipboard now, so I can just click on any of these. And if you hover over it, it'll show you what the name of that, the full name of it is, and all that kind of stuff. Now, the cool thing is if I go to just the word actions here, this shows me a list of everything. All right. When you tag an action, it does not remove that action out of here. It just makes it to where it is also tagged to go somewhere else. If I remember correctly, let me double check that. I could be wrong. Yes, see, all those MIDIs are right here. I wanted to make sure that, yes, so all those MIDI signal options are here, but they're also here in a well-organized way. The tags are really helpful for you if you want to organize it for your volunteers. So you can just have a tag under your actions called Sunday morning, right? And all the things that you need to run for Sunday morning can be in there. And so if I click on the word actions, it shows me everything. How do I get anything to go into there, right? So I can just right click on any action and select the option that says set a tag. All right. And in here, you'll see all the different tags I've made. To make your own, you just go to the option that says manage tags. And this is where you can actually make any tags you want, assign the colors to it that you want, and then you can make new ones here. Hit the little, trash can if you want to get rid of anything like that. Okay. So Mark says, how do you create a new folder under actions? That's it. This is the tags. So you would just do that manage tag option by just right clicking on any action you already have, and then go to set tag, and then scroll to the bottom if you have any, and you'll select the option that says manage tags. All right, let's see here. And these are just filtered by tags. So I can filter out everything in here by tags, but I like to just go over here and look at the tags. Okay. Let me see what else come up. Let's see. And I'm gonna go into the details more about tags. I'm gonna make sure I don't miss anything. Thanks. Okay. I'm just looking to make sure we don't have any. Okay, so let's continue on about actions. I'm gonna get to some of those other thoughts that you guys have there. Okay. And so if we say I want to make a new action, all you do is go to the functions, go to actions, and then select new action down here. This new action is going to be a full list of things. You get to dictate what you want to call it. Totally different than the actions on a slide. The actions on a slide are going to be more narrow down and limited in terms of even what you can call it, because it's going to be whatever it says already dictated. Okay. But these don't have to be tied to an actual slide. These can be an actual push button down at the bottom, like you saw earlier. So I'm going to call this one Free Show Friday test. I'll call it Terry test. All right. Now here's what makes it unique. I can select the option that says choose action here. When I do that, it gives me a list. It's going to give you kind of like a truncated list out the gate. All right. Real simple list, similar to what you saw on the slides, but a lot more expanded. So under media, you're going to see start overlays and effects and start screens and all kinds of cool stuff. This is crazy, crazy cool, that is. You still see the start show. You'll see some clear options, same output options. Timers, you can do that. You can also set variables. You can make it to where it'll change a variable or emit data. So changing a variable might be like changing a scoreboard. You might have made a variable that counts up or is a counter or something like that. You might have made a variable that changes the name of the pastor or the speaker for the day or something like that. But this is just a small selection. Okay. You also can add a wait action, which is really cool as well. And this has to do with making the program wait after, so you can stack actions in here. So you can make more than one step for your action. So step one might be start an audio effect. Step two might be wait 2 seconds, and that's going to be how long that audio effect is. So you say wait 2 seconds and then do another audio effect, right? You can do something like that with that. But I can hit this expand at the top and I can see more options. And this just opens it up to where this is a full unadulterated range of options you have to do some of the coolest things in the program, but they're not very popular, so they're kind of hidden behind that. And I say they're not very popular. They're more advanced. I'm gonna say they're not. It's not that they're not popular. They're just more advanced. So if you know what you want to do, then you can do that. For example, change the slide timeline speed. Come on, right? Transpose your chords up and down, right? You can do that with this. Here's an option here, a project action that marks an item in your project as played. Okay, there's an action that marks it as played if you want to, right? It'll do that automatically if you go through the whole thing, but you can also just tag an action to mark it as played. Okay, so that's kind of cool. So I can select that, and then it'll ask you to toggle it. So you can do a toggle on and off for that mark as played, and that's at step number 1, right? Start action number 1. I can do another one. I'll say add. I want to do something else. I also want to add in something else related to maybe my slides. I can play a slide at an index. That just means at a certain number. So an index represents anywhere from 0 through however many slides it is on that particular show. And so you can do that. You can also play a slide with a certain name or a specific group. Crazy, right? So you can say, I want to play a slide in a specific group, and you get to pick the drop down of what group you want it to be. What are we doing right now? That's crazy. All right. So this is, and I can delete these. So I can move this one up to say I want it to happen before this one, because whatever order you put these in is the order they're going to actually happen. All right. Now it's simultaneous if you don't have a weight in there, but it's still going to do it in that order, which is really cool. So I'm going to close that one out. I'll add another one here just to give us go back into this menu. You'll see you can clear specific overlay with actions. Really cool. You also can clear your drawings if you wanted to. If you had drawings with that, I call it the scribble thing. I'm not sure what it's. I guess it's just called the drawing option. Right above your outputs, you have that drawing option. Let's see here on the media side of things. Not much has changed, but you can toggle playing media. Okay, you can toggle it to play or not play. And then this one is where it kind of goes back to that question we had earlier. You can actually do some things with outputs in terms of you can start a WebRTC streaming, you can start RTMP, you can stop both if you wanted to with an action. And that just means a button. Basically, an action is just a button that you're creating to just click it one time and it does whatever you set it to do. All right. So they don't have to be on a slide, but they can be on a slide. Okay. So here we got audio changes. Going through all these, this is a crazy list. So I'm not going to go through all of them, but you can do a lot. Anybody use the stage connections window? You can change the stage connection layout, right? To where whatever your current stage connection is set to, you can change that to be something else with this action. All right. Let's see here. We got audio, we got timers. That's pretty much the same, but you also see this expanded timeline options. Functions, that's still the same, change the variable. But down here, interactions. I don't know if you guys remember us talking about interactions, but interactions have to do with the live polls and quizzes. You can make an action for that to go to the next question or go to the previous question, to start or to stop an interaction. Crazy. All right. And then also OBS actions. So if you have OBS active and connected to your free show, you can set to a certain scene with an action. You can, and I say an action, think about an action as a button. Okay. It's just a button you would click, or it's a setting you can make in companion. Once you make an action in free show, you can make a button for that action on your companion stream deck, or just on mine. I got an iPad on mine's running my companion. Same way with Spotify. You can run an action just for that. Okay. It just has it for play, pause, fade out, next, or previous. If you have Spotify for desktop, FreeShow is going to automatically read that and show you the Spotify player or controller, I should say. And it'll let you go ahead and use those actions if you wanted to for that as well. And then you also have log song usage to a file, set it as an action, right? If you use CCLI, this is a really powerful tool because it'll pull a report for you. It'll log the song usage to a file that you can export out later on. And then also other actions here. So you can run an action, you can toggle an action, or we got that weight still there, this there as well. Like I said, this is just an expanded list of actions. So Mr. Terry Ray, there is a difference. The biggest difference is that one is just much more expansive. All right. Oh man, Christopher's in the house. He's talking about we got a beta 3 coming out. Oh boy. All right. Yeah, he likes to put me on the spot to let me see it live. So I like that. I'm with it. We're gonna check it out. We'll check it out here in a second. So Mr. Terry Ray, let me know what questions you have about that. If anything else comes up about actions, because I love that question. Hopefully that sheds a little light on it for you. Let's see here. Okay, Mark Smith, M. Smith says, need to get to the levels set up. For now, it's a little hot, but otherwise, the audio sounds good. Going out of soundboard auxiliary to the audio input in the sound card. Okay, so Mark was talking about the audio routing. He figured it out for his setup, and what he's doing is hold on, let's see here. Jim Lawyer says, thanks. Just wanted to make sure, just trying to make it super easy for my volunteers so they don't have to leave free show. Okay. And that was related to that setting up the live streaming, like StreamYard or something like that, with the thumbnails and all that stuff. Not yet. And so Mark says, need to get the levels set up. Okay. So for now it's a little hot. So he's talking about his audio levels in here coming in. So he's probably set up his let's see, he's got sound coming out of his soundboard, going out of the soundboard auxiliary to the audio input in the sound card. And I'm guessing he's talking about in the sound card in his computer. And in there, he can turn this on here and have that go out directly to his live stream. All right. Let's see here. Mr. Terry Ray says sometimes an action doesn't work. How can I troubleshoot that? The best way to troubleshoot an action is to right click on it. Right? Just right click on that action and then do edit and just look and see what's going on with it. See what's supposed to be going on with it, because the way the actions work, going back to that discussion, you can drag these actions onto a slide. So I can say, I can pull that onto a slide like that. And when I get to the slide, it's going to automatically trigger that action. But you can also just click it. Okay. So I can just say, I can just click that and it'll automatically do whatever that action's supposed to do. All right. If you want to remove it off a slide, you can just click that. And it'll go, it should go away if I click on it. I don't think it's going away. Let me see what's going on with my groups here. Do I got that locked too? Yep, I got it locked. Let me unlock it real quick. So if I hover over it this time, it'll go away. So I lock these up just so they won't accidentally get changed, which is really helpful. Really helpful, actually. And you'll see the little lock icon down at the bottom there. All right. I think I should lock that one too. This is Gary B. Jr. Africa. Africa 1. Let me lock that. Lock for editing. All right. And so, but yes, so if it's not working right click on the action and then go to the edit option and see what it's supposed to be doing, because what it's supposed to be doing, it may already be done. So it doesn't seem like it's doing anything. So if you say, hey, I want to change the stage layout with this action, but the stage is already set to that layout, the action is not going to make it look like it did anything because it's already there. So that's one reason why you might see it not do anything. Another thing is if whatever it is you're trying to trigger is not actively visible, maybe you're trying to, I don't know if you got it set to, I don't know what you could do. Like I said, maybe it's set up an output or something like that. If it's already active, it's not going to look like it did anything. All right. Let's see here. Jim Lawyer, he said another crazy question. Some weeks we have piano player in-house, others we do not. Is there a way to have shows set up with music and a toggle to say use music or not for the whole project? There's no toggle for the whole project, but you can go to, what I would say, at least my thought is, let me go to a general show. Let me see if I got any. So let's say you wanted to do a show. I'm trying to think about how that would look when you talk about it being inside of a project. Let's test it out. So I will go here to my free show 815. I got Build My Life. On here, you can hit the three dots next to the title at the top and say toggle timeline. So I can make a timeline and I can record that. So I'm gonna record these keystrokes here. Select that. Select that. Select that one and that one. I don't have any music for this yet. So I'm gonna go ahead and stop. I got that pre-recorded. And then I can go to my audio and I can add some music. Okay, so I'm gonna just drag some music on. So I got this music here. It's just some audio for one of my beginning shows, just an MP3 file, I think. So now I have audio tied to it. All right. What you can do is you can set it up to where now this particular show has a pre-recorded option for you, right? We saw those actions earlier where you can actually set an action to run a timeline. So if I go to, let me see what I call that one. Is it FreeShow Friday, Terry? Here we go. FreeShow Friday, Terry test. If I go back to edit that and I say add, I wanted to, let's do, where's the one? I think it was one here specifically for timelines. Here we go, timeline. So I can say start a timeline, stop a timeline, pause, or set timeline time. All right. So I can say start a timeline. Okay. And that start the timeline is going to make it play this timeline. So if I say boom, you'll see it starts to play that timeline. The music is going to play. And if I had it routed to where you guys can hear it, you would actually hear that music going as well. Now, the music is playing. You can see it in the top right corner there, but I don't have it routed to where you guys can hear it. So that would be an option, okay, to where you can make a tag that just says, hey, this is, that free show Terry test. I can say, hey, this is going to be my, you might name it the name of the song and then make it be a button that you add or a tag that you add potentially. And look, I clicked it again, but I can stop it here. I'll pause it. But you might have to do something like that. I would say using those timelines where you can add the audio to it if you have the MP3 or the WAV file. And then I'm trying to think about how you would toggle that on and off though, to where it'll stop and start, like not magically, but automated. Because you're trying to dictate, because it's going to be automatically tied to this particular show. But if you turn the timeline off, if I toggle the timeline and I say, let's see, if I say Free Show Terry test and I start it, nothing happens because there's no timeline open. Okay. So nothing's open. So what you can do is whenever you do have no pianist, you can go here and make sure that your team toggles the timeline on. And then when they do it, they can just play the timeline from there or have an action set to it automatically play. That would be my thoughts off the top of my head. All right. Mark Smith says, how do you create a new folder under actions? I think I answered that one already. They're going to be considered tags. So you just right click on it and say manage tags. Let's see here. K Vaspo dropping bombs. 165 beta 3 is out now. We're going to check that out. And then Atisa says, wow, thanks for the great work. Indeed, indeed. K Vaspo is working hard always. Mr. Cherry says, sometimes an action doesn't work. How can I troubleshoot? We talked a little bit about that. Right click on it. Check what you've got it set to do. And we can talk about it from that standpoint, or be my first starting point, at least I should say. All right. Mark says, cancel my comment about the audio sources being muted when hitting clear all. Oh, I didn't even see that. Audio sources being muted. Oh, I do remember you said something about that. But okay, so he says being muted when hitting clear all. It is fixed in beta 3. What? Okay. So the audio sources were getting muted when hitting clear all. Awesome. Claude is in the house. Welcome, welcome, my friend. I see that you had a comment. I don't think you asked a question, but we're going to get to some of the comments and we'll see that one in just a second. Welcome, my friend. Claude from Canada is in the house. Kyle Bettina, Kyle Bettina 8427 says, hey, or hi, just got back from Free Show. And I want to ask, we are planning to separate laptop for Free Show and OBS and another laptop. Currently connecting it via NDI, but most of the time when working on Free Show on the laptop, one, it won't reflect on the OBS laptop too. Any idea how to fix this? So it sounds like we got two laptops. One is the primary driver for Free Show, and the other is the primary driver for OBS. We're using NDI to talk to those two, to where NDI is the bridge to say, hey, whatever's on Free Show, put that onto my OBS screen. My question to you would be, what version of Free Show are you using? And what type of computers do you have? What version of Free Show and what type of computer? I say that because Mac and PCs function a little bit different from my experience using OBS with Free Show over NDI for whatever the reason. And then since then, the thing about it is with this latest OBS update, not OBS, but these latest Free Show updates though, since probably 164, maybe, my connection has been solid with my Mac to where I used to have to constantly go in and okay, yeah, he said yes too. But I used to have to constantly go into my sources and reset my output, okay, or the NDI connection. So that's one thing, is go into OBS, and I'll share my screen here. Let's go to my MacBook. And so what you can do is you need to go in and let me go to studio mode, and I'm gonna go to Free Show, and then I'll go to headshot. All right. So my FreeShow primary is over here. This is what's showing up on FreeShow. You might have to go in and right click on that source and select properties, or you can hit properties up here too, totally up to you. And then check and make sure that it's going to the one that you need. Okay. Make sure it's going to the one that you need. That's going to be the first step. That's what I used to have to do, because what was happening was this local ID was changing every time. I don't know if I would restart OBS, or every time I restart FreeShow, or every time I restart my computer, but it would always be a different local host name or something like that. And that was changing. So Windows on both and 163. Okay. Check out 164 and see if it does any better. But with the Windows, what I learned, I'm trying to think back to some times where I had some meetings with some folks about Windows. What did they run into, or what was I running into with the connection? It wasn't changing the local host name, but we may have still had to go in there and check it for some reason. I can't remember what the reasoning was. It was what it that it was for, but double check that source and make sure it didn't change on you. I would double check down here. Uh, Look, can you guys? Oh wait, you guys can't even see my screen. All right, let me see. Let me do it in a different order. So I'm gonna go here and then here. All right, so you guys can see my screen now. And so what I was saying was, right click on the source and hit properties, and then make sure that your source isn't changing the local host name, because you might have an old host name there with 1701 and now it's 17088. You got to update that. That's what I used to have to do all the time on my Mac. It may have been something that was persistent on PCs as well, but I noticed it on my Mac, and that was mostly what I was using. So I can't say if that's the reason, but that would be something to check. But make sure to update as well. That would be a big part of that process. Just see what it looks like if you update that version to 164 at least. That's going to be the latest full version. 165 is still in beta, and we're about to check it out right now. So let me go to here. Let me go to FreeShow. Let's see what we got going on. All right. In FreeShow, I'm going to go to my downloads page, and I'm going to go to pre-release. I'm going to just say see all releases. And we'll see here we've got dB volume instead of linear. We got per network output audio meters. Okay. And then RTMP multi-destination streaming. That's crazy. Okay. Improved item resize snapping. Okay. Audio setting improvements. RTMP change hardware encoding. Interesting. That's probably what I needed, because I know I was having some issues with that quality. Hopefully that fixes it. Microphone stay active on clear all. Nice. And then microphone actions. Even better. Oh my goodness. Main thread should no longer block audio signal. Okay. Double click media cropping for overlays and templates. This was one that I ran into as well. And I say I ran into it personally in terms of that's a ticket I submitted, or an issue I passed by the development team. And they're super responsive to get that updated and fixed for us. Let's see, your border radius working on cropped media. Ooh, I can't. Oh, yeah. Canvas share projects are visible. Nice. Timer add seconds. API action. What? Add seconds API action. That's crazy. I don't even know what that is. Output window position updates. Okay. And then some other minor tweaks. Video audio playback fixes. RTMP issues. Fix NDI audio issues. Fixed audio meter value. Online videos not controllable. Okay. Fixed online videos not controllable. Interesting. And then fix video state syncing. Fix mute when video plays not working. Goodness. Let's see. Fix streaming auto starting if enabled. Okay. Fix videos modified in the future not working properly. Fix provider shows content sometimes replaced by cloud data. Okay. And then fix shows reset in focus mode if cloud sync. The shows reset in focus mode. Got you. Fix incorrect slide group number order. There's a lot of fixes, you guys. Fix text, justify align spacing. So justify align space. Okay. Fix chords alignment if no text. Interesting. And then cloud sync fixes and the assets. The moment of truth First, let me close FreeShow. Look, let me save what I got. I just do Command S on a Windows. I guess it's Control S. I'm gonna go here. I'm gonna do my ARM64 since I have an Apple M chip device. And let's see what we get. This is hot off the press. It's literally 18 minutes ago. That is crazy. What else is 18 minutes? We can see the latest Mac YML. Interesting. Okay, here it is. FreeShow Beta 3. All right. Now, do not try this at home. The way that I do it is I always install it into my applications folder, and I always replace just to make sure I can test it properly so there's nothing else that could possibly interfere. So I say replace. For you all, I would say keep both. That way you can test it out without it interfering with what you already are doing. But that's just because I don't do anything that's mission critical for what I use FreeShow for on this computer at all. It's all just for testing and development mostly. So it works out just fine for me. Here we go. The moment of truth. I'm going to open it up. Let's see what we get. All right. FreeShow is an app. Absolutely. It's downloaded from the internet and it opens up. Let's see where it goes. I got that behind me playing. Let me move this out the way. I'm not sure what this is for. What was I trying to add? All right, so let's go to admin. All right, admin. I got my password protected. And there we go. I don't know if you guys know, I always talk to you guys about the profiles, but whenever I'm in FreeShow, I got mine set to do that just for demonstration purposes mostly, because nobody else uses my computer. But if you use the cloud sync feature, that admin password could be helpful. If you have other users using your computer, you see I had a bunch of different profile options there as well. All right. I love this here, verse of the day. That is cool. Oh, this is Romans 15. This reminds me of verse in Timothy too. All right. Sorry. Okay, so let's go into, let me change my order of these slides. I'm gonna pull this one here. All right, so DB volume instead of linear is the first thing we got on the list. So DB volume instead of linear volume. And let's go here. Let's go to audio. If I go to mains, you'll see that it's dBs. And so I can drag this to be negative dB, right? You can go to negative 12. You can make it be whatever you want to, right? So it can go back to 0, which is like the peak. And then you also have the audio delay option. That's really cool. And I can mute the whole output. Very nice. Makes a lot of sense there. Oh, I don't know if this was a part of the list, but it looks like I don't have to shrink those down on the sides to get that expanded list. So these columns got a little narrower, which is really cool. So you can see your strings, your nodes connections easier. I love that. Per network output audio meter. So per network output audio meter. And so what that means is if I go back to my show and let's do this begin shortly show, and I'll hide my timeline because I don't have anything on that. When I play this, this is designed to do an OSC change. So let me go. Let's do, this is start a playlist. Let me take that off for now and I'll select this. And so ultimately what you'll see is the audio meters for each output, even if it's a network output. Before it used to just be the main showing up, but you'll see here I got one for the primary, one for the NDI only, and then I got the overall one on the right there. So there's 2 on that far right corner. Let me see if I can make them a little bigger for you guys. About right there. So that's about as big as I can get it to where you can see it a little bit more of it there, which is really cool. Really, really cool. Okay. And I can hit clear all, and those audio levels will fade out because I got that set to fade out. Very nice. RTMP multi-destination streaming. This is cutting edge 165 beta 3 first reaction or initial reaction review. Let me see what we got in the comments here real quick. Let's see here. So Windows both. Okay, so Kyle Batana 8427 says, yeah, that's not changing. Like the connection is all good. It's just that when we use free show, it just won't reflect. Where else can you mention an issue and it's fixed in an update in the moments? Um, that would be, oh, so quick question or quick response to what Kyle was talking about. If you go to the freeshow.app page, you can go here and hit this little icon here that looks like a little cat. That's the GitHub page. And you can go here and submit an issue. I just go to this option that says issues, and you can make sure the review is already active in terms of these are all open issues on that first page. These 10 things are open issues. You'll see it there. And then you can go up here to say new issue. And it's going to walk you through what you would need to do. So if it's a bug that you're running into, you can do a bug report and it'll ask you to make sure that you searched all the existing open and closed. So you can do that and then submit your ticket in terms of what the issue is, how often it happens, how to reproduce it, and put that info in there so that the development team can actually fix it. I have a lot of questions since our church is using free show because I got this from you. Now in our lower third outline sermon, I use it as songs since that was works for me. Is there a right way to broadcast lower thirds for an outline sermon? No, there's no right or wrong way to do it. It's really going to depend on how you guys manage your notes and manage your pastors or your teachers outline content. Okay. And so for your lower thirds, there is a default lower thirds set up there for the templates. I just do I think is it in presentations? Maybe not. It might just be in songs. So this is a lower third pastel that's going to be on the left. You can use something like this one as your lower thirds, or this one that's blue. The left alignment is going to be something the way that people typically read. And you can do something like that. This is a lower third color one. And these are all there, but you can customize those, right? So you can go in there and customize what they look like by just right clicking and editing them. And then once you do that, then you set that as a style over here in the top in the settings. And when you set your styles, you would say, okay, I want to have one that's for lower thirds. I got one called live here. And you just make the override with template for your regular slides, which is where your pastor's notes or your sermon notes or whatnot are going to be. And then for scriptures, that's going to be something totally different. Okay. So your songs and notes are going to be the same. But typically your songs are you want those to be centered. So I would do something that's going to be a style that's going to have them a centered override. And then for your scriptures, those are going to be options that are going to be default. They have some lower thirds already pre-made for that as well. But you can also download some from my website as well. Use it as songs since that's what works for me. Is there a right way to broadcast lower thirds for outline sermon? No, there's no right or wrong way to do it. Like I said, to me, it's going to really depend on how you outline those slides, right? How you organize the content. And if you use bullets or something like that, then you'll need to make a template that's going to have bullets in the lower thirds, which bullets in lower thirds are not the best, but excuse me, the way I would probably do that for my lower thirds, if you're doing sermon notes, is maybe do 1 or 2 lines per slide, per text box, I mean, and that way you'll see it one at a time instead of having a whole list of them like you might see in-house. It'll actually go through one line at a time online, and you can just make sure your volunteer or yourself goes between that. So this is where I would probably make that change the most, is doing it here and setting that to be 1 or 2 lines. Okay. You can see here and do more options here and do show as faded in-house, and that'll show that same option you can do that same thing on those on the in-house slides if you wanted to, I guess. And it'll just highlight each bullet point separately, which is kind of cool as well. Okay. So hopefully that makes sense, Kyle. Keep them coming though. Lots of questions is always good. Always good, especially on the Q&A live stream like this. This is what this is about, right? We left off talking about these updates. We got an RTMP multi-destination streaming. This is interesting. So if I go to outputs and I'm going to do my YouTube. Whoa. So here now you can set multiple destinations. Great question, Kyle. So he's asking, do we have a way to broadcast live from Free Show? And he's basically saying we don't right now, but that is not true. In the beta 165, this is beta 3 we're looking at right now. you can live stream. It's built in. It's crazy. So what it'll live stream whatever your output is. So it's going to live stream itself. Okay. It's not going to live stream all your other camera feeds in OBS. It's going to live stream itself in terms of whatever your output is here. So you would need to make sure your cameras are routed into FreeShow. As I talked about this in the video for last FreeShow Friday, and I just released it as a snippet. Let me see, is it here? So live camera, lower thirds. That would be what I recommend you look at before you try to live stream from FreeShow. Check this one out. Check out this video. It's only 8 minutes, less than 10 minutes in that case. And you can check out what it does it take or what is a good recommendation, because as long as your computer can see your actual cameras. Okay. So for me, I use a Rodecaster Video. Okay. Rodecaster Video is basically just a big webcam, but it's a switcher. It's like an ATEM. I got an ATEM switcher as well. Those are just big webcams that you can connect to your computer through USB. And as long as it's connected, then FreeShow can see that particular camera feed. If you go back to media, it'll be able to see it as an input. And you'll see here, we got cameras, we got screens, NDI, Blackmagic. And so you'll see all those options. And these are all my cameras. So this is my webcam on my camera, on my computer, I mean. And then down here, this is my camera. That's a GH5. That's my main camera that I use with you guys for my live streams and my online Zoom calls and all that kind of stuff. But that is actually connected to my Rodecaster as a part of it's on. I don't know what you call it. Actually, it's connected. I connected it to my Rodecaster and I connected my output from it to be directly from there. So I made it as a specific output, so it's always there as a USB. That's why I didn't say Rodecaster here. You'll see my Rodecaster video shows this on my my FreeShow screen or my main screen because it's following my video. Okay. But I have a separate capture card. Let me see here. This is not exactly one, but it looks just like this. So you can buy I got a little cheap capture card that I've got connected, right? Something like this. And what it does is it allows me to take the output from, in this case, you could say an ATEM, right? From the output of the ATEM and set that output to always be the main camera I want and connect it directly to USB to my computer. So there's the USB cord at the tip of it, USB-C. And now I have a clean feed of the same main output all the time directly in. And that's what's called USB video right there. All right. And so I do that because I always want that to be available to me in OBS, but also I always want it to be available to me in FreeShow. In this case, if I start live streaming from here, I would do the same thing. And live streaming from here is coming soon. Like I said, I'm working on it. I don't know yet. I don't know what the best. I like OBS. I like the functionalities and I like the features. But I would love to be able to do everything from one program. And that's the biggest difference between using OBS versus using FreeShow as it is becoming. Okay, FreeShow never could do this stuff before this 165 update. It's still in beta, but once this gets finalized and gets in place, it's going to be crazy. Let's see here. Are you guys having an issue with my video? It says I'm still live, but it says it's not receiving enough information or something like that. Let's see here. I'm not getting too much CPU usage going, but my bandwidth is going down. I'm directly hardwired connected, which is good. I think I'm hardwired connected. Let me see what's going on real quick on my network. My internet's good, but I got this error message. So let me know if you guys can still hear me. So I'm on Wi-Fi. Okay, let me see something here. Let's plug this up. Okay. Let's see if that helps. All right. Let's see here. Yeah, I noticed I was buffering. Can you guys hear me better now? Do I need to look at the video using NDI in order to get my camera feed via NDI? So Larry's asking a question. Let me know if you guys can hear me. I did get an error message on YouTube. Okay. I see you guys are seeing the same thing I'm seeing. Let me see if I can refresh. Hold on. It still says it's a poor signal. Um, Still choppy a little bit. I'm facing the same problem. I see lagging also. Yeah, I'm working on getting my bit rate is going up and down. It's changing pretty drastically, which is kind of crazy. But I'm trying to stream at about 25, I think. And we'll see. We'll see. I'll try to continue on, and if it acts up too bad, I'll try to send this back out, via a pre-recorded one. Like I told you, I'm recording it anyway directly, so that's a good thing. All right, so let's talk about one of the questions. Okay, the audio is good, but the video is on hold. Okay, that's cool. We'll make sure to get an updated version of it once we get this finalized, and I'll be able to output something for you guys. All right, so when it comes to the live streaming, so the question was, how do we, or can we live stream from Free Show? Like I said, my computer is getting pretty hot in here. Like I said, it's pretty toasty. Maybe I need to turn the air up or something like that. But I got a bunch of stuff going. I got my ATEM switcher behind here. I've got my what's this? My Orion split extenders got heat going. I got my computer fan going. But hopefully everything is good. This thing is going all over the place in terms of mega. Let me see what's going on in my OBS. That signal is crazy. It's going up to 65 megabits per second. What in the world? 50 megabits per second. Let me see what I got it set to. I got it set to be 23 megabits per second. And I got it set to a constant bit rate, but it's fluctuating from 35 to 50 and all kinds of weird stuff. So that's okay. We'll figure that part out later on. In the meantime, so it's kind of holding steady now at 23, which is good. Can you guys hear me a little bit better, or is it still choppy? It still looks like it's choppy on my end. It looks like it leveled out. Yeah, still choppy on my end as well. But so let's talk about something that doesn't require a lot of video. Let me see here. We talked about the options for, let me turn off some of these. Let me see what I got on my stage displays. See if I got any problems with anything here. Nothing's running right now. Check my connections menu. Hopefully you guys can still see me, but I'm just going through and optimizing for my live stream. I'll turn off my remote show. Don't need that. Turn off my remote clicker. I'll turn off my OBS controller on my on Free Show as well. All right. So it's trying to level out. I think it leveled out now. Seems to be no issues anymore for the network, which is good. Let me know in the chat. Is the video restored back on you guys then? Okay, that's good. That's good. Let's see here. Having trouble. All right. Yeah, it looks like it leveled out. My computer just kind of took a toll, I think. I don't know. But what I did do is I went in here. So if you guys ever run into some network issues while you got Free Show open, one of the first things I'll do is I'll go into my connection menu and I'll just disable anything I'm not using. So right now I'm definitely using the API for Companion, but I wasn't using the remote clicker and I wasn't using remote show, but they both were on. I would disable those so they will stop taking up any bandwidth on your network. And then I'm not using OBS Studio through Free Show, so I disabled that one as well. And that was actually connected, all right? So let's go back to, we were talking about the outputs and how you can add another destination. So I can say add a destination. You can put a new stream URL and a new stream key and have them either on or off. You can enable or disable, right? Each one, so I can turn it on and off. I'll be doing some more testing on that this week. But Free Show is moving into a whole new era. And it's moving into the era of kind of doing a lot of what you would do in OBS, right? So it's kind of becoming this all-in-one resource or this tool. And a lot of folks are doing this with Pro Presenter, where they were using the RTMP, I guess, with Resi. if I remember correctly. I don't think any of that was free. Obviously, Pro Presenter is not free, but I think Resi you had to pay for that as well. But this is a all free support setup. So I can use YouTube, directly stream to that for free. I can set up another destination and directly stream to that, like Facebook, for free. And so if you wanted to do that, instead of using something like what you would traditionally use for that is like some type of multi-streamer. I think that's what they call them. But you usually pay for that type of platform, like a StreamYard or Restream or some. Even YoloCast has something like that, like YoloBox. That's something else that happens with those as well. So you can do that potentially with FreeShow. It's just not tested yet. It's in beta mode. So what they're being able to do is say, hey, whatever you've got in your outputs up here from this one program, whether it's video or if it's a slide or both, and to whatever destinations you want it to go to, you can do that. And that's going to be crazy. I must admit, I wasn't ready for that, for multi-destination streaming. My goal was just to get to one stream to be a super good quality. And I think that's something else that's been updated. So you can say here, video encoder. I can set it to be software, or it says Apple Video Toolbox. So I can select that. And I guess that's going to be the main one that I would probably use is the Apple Video Toolbox, because it's going to be a hardware encoder, which my computer does have. Let's see here. We got Chris joining us again from Guatemala. C. Campbell 382. Welcome, welcome, my friend. I want to add two questions here to answer when you can. For sure. Drop them on in. Drop them on in. We just went through a little bit of my internet kind of flaked out for a second. So we're just recovering from that. So you're right on time. You're right on time. Let me see here. Do I need to look at video using? Okay, so Larry had a question. Let's see. By the way, I don't have a way to broadcast. Okay, so Kyle started it. So when Kyle said, "Is there a way to broadcast live from FreeShow?" I'm just joking with you, buddy. You know, this is not your fault at all. But when he asked that, I was showing ways that you can set up the broadcast directly from FreeShow in this beta version. So I've got FreeShow 1.6.5 beta 3 active right now. I just downloaded it for the first time, doing a blind first impressions look at it. So if anything flakes out, it's probably just because I'm using a beta, as it pertains to some of that stuff. But I'm not live streaming through FreeShow right now. So that little internet lagging thing was more just my internet. I noticed that my internet was defaulting to my Wi-Fi, so I think my little what is this called? The Ethernet dongle just kind of flaked out on me, so I plugged in a different one that I've got, and it seems to be working a lot more solid, which is good. So we'll see. But there's a question that said, do I need to look at the video using NDI in order to get my camera feed via NDI? So Larry's asking a question. Do I need to look at the video using NDI in order to get my camera feed via NDI? So I'm gonna go back to the show page. We go to the media, and he's looking for where his camera is. So Larry, it's gonna really depend on the type of camera you got. So if you only have NDI cameras, then yes, you're gonna have to go to NDI, right? If you have a USB camera, okay, if your NDI or if your PTZ cameras, I know that was what we had when we were there last. You will, if you don't have a way, I don't think you had a way to connect those through the network outside of NDI, but if you can plug them up through a USB, then you would just select cameras here. These are all the cameras that are connected. This says NDI virtual camera. It's not real. This is my iPhone camera. It's a continuity camera. So you can see here, there's my notes. There's my companion. My camera is a little blurry. Let me clean it off a little bit. Hold on. Clean it off with my t-shirt here. Let's see if it's a little cleaner. Yeah, that's a lot cleaner. There we go. All right, so that's my feed there. And then there's my laptop that kind of flaked out. I was looking down here at my bit rate. It was going all over the place. It was going to 53 and all kinds of stuff. It said I had some drop frames there. You'll see it had 3,400 drop frames during that time. And that's going to just stay there because it's not dropping frames anymore. It's staying pretty steady. But yeah, so that's what that is. All right. Hopefully it's not. Look, I don't see it. It looks like it's pretty consistent for you guys. Hopefully it's not too laggy. But I think me driving all these video sources is kind of lagging it up. But you would pick whatever video source you have. So screens says nothing here, but there's some there. And then NDI, if you have those, you'll see those listed here for any of your cameras. And then if you have any Blackmagic devices, same way. You'll be able to stream any of those Blackmagic devices as well. And that would be like possibly a screen. All right, let's see here. I can see you. I can see you. Awesome, awesome, awesome. Okay, Larry says OBS has multi plugin. Oh, I never used it. Okay, so Larry is saying that with OBS, you can do the same thing, multi-destination streaming, which is really cool. I just never used it. Osa says, yo, what's going on? Osa, let us know where you're joining from. Remind me, my friend. Welcome, welcome. All right, so C. Campbell, Chris's question is, I use the remote app on my phone. Every time I connect, it needs a new connection. To avoid this, could I set up my computer to a static IP so that even if I change networks, I can select the same connection in the iOS app? Quite likely. But my question to you is, what do you use the remote function to do? Right? What do you use the remote function to do? If you're just using it to advance your slides, I would just do the remote clicker. And that would run, it wouldn't run through an app. Excuse me, it would just run through the internet. Okay. And so going to Chris's question, if you go to your settings and you look at your connections menu, we got remote show, which basically gives you like a remote access to free show, right? Like think of it as not a TV remote, like I think about. It's a remote access to the program. So it almost mirrors whatever you're seeing in free show on your phone or tablet or your computer, right? So it looks just like a fully functioning free show display and everything, right? Um, doesn't have all the features, but it has a lot of the features. Okay. And then stage show is going to be one that's going to give you an online signal for your stages layouts that you have. You can pick from that, from any stage layouts that you have if you activate that. Control show is going to be the remote control, right? That's what I think about when I think about a control. It's a remote control, right? So it looks like just a left and right arrow, and then it has some options in the middle to like stop the show, I think, or something like that. Output show is going to show you your outputs on a browser window. So anything that you have here is an active output. It'll show it to you on an actual output. So I'm gonna turn this one off. I don't need both of those on. Actually, I think I do to get my NDI to go right. So let me edit this one. I'm gonna turn on my NDI here and have that one only, and turn this one off. And then I'm gonna go to my free show primary, and I'm gonna change that to be my NDI, just so when I do my outro, it'll play right. I think. Yeah, I think it should play right. All right. Okay. So, what was I saying? Oh, going back. Those connections, the connection menu here, the remote clicker is one that does not rely on the Wi-Fi network. Okay. It's not relying on the IP address of the computer network and all that kind of stuff. Only thing that has to happen is your computer needs to be connected to the internet, and your device, your phone or your tablet, needs to be connected to the internet, and you can just click back and forth from anywhere in the world. Okay. I say anywhere in the world. Literally, me and Christopher tested this live on Free Show whenever this came out, maybe over a month ago. And he was in Norway and I was in Atlanta, and he was controlling my show, and he was just using his phone. Okay. So if you're just using it to switch slides back and forth without having to see the slides, you can use the remote clicker, and it's going to be, to me, it's the most stable option out of these, because you are likely to have some challenges with that network connection, because maybe firewalls, or in my case, I think it was my local host kept changing. It was just weird. So all those different things play a part. There's nothing wrong with the app itself, but networks are going to have bring some variable to that. So let me know if that makes sense, Chris. Okay, someone else controls the slides for you. Okay, so what are you using? Oh, someone else is controlling the slides for you. Okay, that is what I use, but I use the Free Show app instead of the browser. Right, right. But what are you? So they're controlling the show. Where's the main show? Where's it at? What computer is on the main show, and where's that main computer? Like what computer is? No, where's the main computer at? And then what's your remote show access needed? Who needs that? Is that you needing it? Because you said someone else is controlling the slides for you, but what are you using the remote show for? Like, because remote show usually means there's two different devices, and I'm guessing you're using one of those. You're using the remote access and the other person's using the main computer. If you're just trying to navigate back and forth, I would do the remote clicker. All right. Let's see here. Chris's second question is, I want to try to use audio pads, like background tracks. Thank you. That is so helpful. Somebody was talking to me about pads the other day, and I did not know what they were talking about. And I was like, I have no clue what you just said. It was hilarious. All right. So audio pads are background tracks. Awesome. I'm using an app called AutoPad. Okay. Is there a way to link that free show? Is there a way to link that free show to the AutoPad app that will change the pad with the song? I'm guessing you should be able to do that with a MIDI signal back and forth. So you have to look at AutoPad and see if there's a way that it can um, trigger be triggered through MIDI. So it says I want to try to use the audio pad. I'm using AutoPad. Yeah, audio pads. I'm sorry, but AutoPad. So I'm using an app called AutoPad. Is there a way to link that to FreeShow or link FreeShow to the AutoPad app that will change the app with the song, change the pad with the song? Hmm. I would check for MIDI in that situation. That would be my thought. And then, or you can look and see if there's some type of connection you can do. Um, Maybe there's some type of companion integration you could have with AutoPad, and you can kind of put two things together in one button, and it'll control both. Right? You can have one button that controls FreeShow and AutoPad at the same time with the companion. Companion is kind of like the merging of all the programs and excuse me, the programs and the hardware together. That would be a way to do it. But I'm thinking MIDI is going to be the best solution because that's how it works with I think it's called playback with Song Select. I think playback is another one that's kind of like that. I think that it actually is sending MIDI signals to change the slides to go along with an actual track, I guess, or pad. Uh, okay, so Chris says so. He says, but instead of someone else setting up the front, okay, so it's just a basic setup. Uh, okay, that is what I use, but I use the FreeShow app instead of the browser. Got that? It's just a basic setup, computer to HDMI to projector, right? And then he says, but instead of someone sitting up front with the computer, they can control it from the back. Okay, so the computer is in the front. Okay, so for example, I am singing the song Praise. There's a background track for Praise. Yeah, I would. So if you just wanted to start playing when you get to the first slide, I would just make it on a timeline, right? If you just want that song to start playing, if it's just an audio track, like I guess to me, I'm not familiar with what the app does. Uh, so using, I want to try auto pads. Maybe it's not an app at all. I may have made that part up. This is not an app at all. It's just a background track. So if it's just music, okay, let's just act like it's just music. If it's not, correct me. But if it's just music, just hit the little three dots on your show and just toggle the timeline on and just drag the music on to the beginning of that show. And then just hit play. It'll just play and you can just go along with it. Uh, Next glorious day, and that has a separate background track. So as the slides advance, it would link to the track. Yeah, so if you wanted to auto advance for you, then that's where MIDI would come in. Or you can just do a pre-recorded um, timeline. Okay. When I say pre-recorded timeline, what that looks like is you would make your show. So I'm gonna go to an actual song show. Let me do that. I've done that already earlier, but let's do this one. Let's do Good Good Father. This is hilarious. It's got this in there. Let me go to edit real quick just so it can look right. So to fix this, I'm just gonna put this in brackets because these are chords. All right. And I don't think I got that anywhere else. Let me double check. Hold on. Tag, okay, times 4, okay. And this needs to do that. I think. I don't even know. I think these are chords or something. So definitely are not words to the song. And it still didn't update. What in the world? Let me go here. Let me see what's going on. This particular show, it's not designed to show the chords, I don't think. Let me go to the slide. Are chords on? Yeah, they're not on. That should go away, I thought. Interesting. If I go to text edit, I thought it would put those. Maybe I need to put it here. If not, I'm gonna just delete this real quick. Sorry, you guys. I'm just trying to make sure I got this set up in a way that makes sense. Yeah, okay. So that 2X is messing up the chords. All right. Okay, so let me go back to my show. So I got stuff running all over the edge. Let me fix that with a template. Okay. And we're just doing this on the fly, so bear with me. I'm gonna go to, I like my blur box. Let me do my blur box. All right, my blur box doesn't have it set to where it's gonna fit. I did a blur box too, but I'm gonna right click on this one. So if you ever have a template that does this where the lyrics just don't fit, I always right click on my templates, and by default, I like to select the text box and say, hey, shrink it to fit. If it ain't gonna fit, make it fit, okay? And what you'll see is it'll automatically make that fit, okay? And it'll go in there for you, which is important for me, all right? Now, I'm also noticing something here that this output is showing up a little different. My NDI output is defaulting to 960. I don't want that. I want it to be 1920. Uh-oh. Oh, snap. This is the resolution change. Okay. Okay. Boom. That's new. That's super new. And I can go there and I can change it here as well. Nice. That's one of those updates, you guys, to the setup. That's really nice. All right, let me see what's going on here on this one. Because it doesn't look like it's fitting to my screen down here. On my OBS. Let me see. Fit to screen. Okay. That is weird. Let me see what this looks like. Tell me if this looks like it looks smaller to me for some reason. And I'm not sure why. Let me go to my settings, output. That is interesting. Okay. I'll fix it later. We'll figure it out. But my output is just looking like it's super small in there to me. And I don't know why. So I'll figure it out. All right. So for our setup, if you're doing an auto pad, meaning that it's audio only, okay? Oh, he said it is an app. Okay, so AutoPad is an app. But if you had the audio, like the actual sound, where's the sound coming in? Is the app on the computer? Or is it an app on a phone or on a tablet? That got confusing since we're looking at two questions at the same time. Sorry about that, buddy. It is because you made it to fit to the space. Well, I did that in OBS, but in FreeShow, this is my NDIs on. It's set to be 1920 by 1080, which is great. Change output values, change the resolution. I can make it be whatever I need to there. But it's 16 by 9 still, which is great. And then let me check. This is on default style. Maybe it's the style. Let me see what that style is set to do. My style for output for default. Yeah, 16 by 9, which is fine. That's super weird. All right, so for Chris's question, since I'm lacking in my musical abilities, my friend, I will be honest, I may not be the best person to answer that. But let's see here. AutoPad is computer or phone. Okay, so you can see it from a computer or a phone. The main thing then is I would go back and default to that first thought is that you'll probably need to trigger from a MIDI signal or something like that. Probably from a MIDI signal would be my thought. So Osa says from the US, nice. We just updated our projector to a TV. So that output update is fire. Very cool. Very cool. Chris says, in your template, you made it fit to the box. Oh, not that was just this the text itself, but I was looking at the output on my the full frame. So I was looking at this whole spacing around here is showing up on OBS like a smaller screen for some reason. And I'm not sure why. So when I go here, you guys can see it's got like it's not filling the screen for some reason. I don't know why. I really have no clue. So let me go here and see what's going on. If I right click on it and say transform, I'll let you guys see what I'm doing too. Let me go to my MacBook. If I right click on this and I go to transform and I say fit to screen, it should make that bigger. But see this little black space around there? That's not supposed to be there. And I don't know how to make it go away. Let me do clear all real quick and see if I can get rid of it. All right. And then I'll select one of these and it's still there. It's interesting. Let me see if it's like that on any other songs. I'm just going to go into my right screen now. Mighty God, use me, Lord, faithful. Okay, so let's see what that one looks like. We go here. Yeah, it's still the same thing. I don't think that's a free show issue because free show is showing it perfectly fine. In free show, it looks like it's full screen like this. And it's jumping because it's just set to loop, right? That's a whole different thing. But I don't think it's actually looping on the main. Well, it's just an NDI feed, so I don't even have a main output for it. But just a little weird, but we'll see. I'm not sure what's going on with that. So, Chris, I don't know that I can answer your question fully in a great way just because I'm not familiar with AutoPad. But I would say looking to see if AutoPad will support MIDI, right? And so if I go here, let me do a search for. Yes, AutoPad fully supports MIDI. Yep, so you can connect hardware or Bluetooth MIDI controllers and apps to trigger pads. So in that case, excuse me. So it says controller and apps to trigger pads. So triggering a pad is basically triggering a song. So that's where our discussion about, if we hit here and we can go to slide actions and we can say, not necessarily activate on MIDI signal because it's going to be looking for a signal. I guess you could. So if you could say, hey, let's see here. Can it send its own? Can it send a signal? AutoPad tutorial, MIDI actions. So check out some of these tutorials about MIDI actions and see, and then we can go from there. But that's what I would recommend, Chris. Seeing what it looks like. CC actions, assign physical knobs or sliders on your controller. Limitations, Android support. The Android version does not support virtual MIDI. Audio unit when running as an AUV3. Not sure what that is. If you like, let me know. What MIDI controller? Foot switch. We're using iOS. Okay. Live. Yeah, so it says that yes, AutoPad fully supports MIDI. You can connect hardware or Bluetooth controllers and apps to trigger pads. You can change parameters and navigate set lists. And so basically, you need to send a MIDI signal to that program is what it sounds like for it to trigger the pad or the song it sounds like that you want. Okay. And so the way to do that in FreeShow is with an action. So you can go here to actions instead of right clicking on this here, because this is going to just say, hey, trigger this particular slide with a MIDI signal. It's not going to send a MIDI signal. Okay. That's number one. But if you say, hey, I want FreeShow to tell the AutoPad program to play a certain song when I get to this slide, then you want to go to functions and say new action and say, we'll just say AutoPad, if I spell it right, AutoPad test MIDI. And I'll just say choose action. And you scroll down to the bottom here, it says emit data. Now, if you don't have any data emitters created, it's going to invite you to create an emitter. And you're going to create a MIDI network so that AutoPad can see it and FreeShow can see it. And they can talk to each other over that network. And then you pick your emitter you want. So this is where you would pick whatever emitter you created. I've already created one called FreeShow MIDI. So I can select that. And it's going to ask you for the note, the velocity, and the channel that you want this particular action to send. I defaulted mine to be note on. So you'll see that option there. I can set a custom value here with those options, or I can pick one that I've already pre-made. So you can use some pre-made ones, but you can also set it up. So update values when receiving a MIDI input, you can do that. I don't know what that does in detail just because I don't use MIDI enough, but the note velocity and channel are going to be very important for your MIDI signal for what you're going to use to trigger your AutoPad pad, if that makes sense, I think. So also says, question, not sure if possible or already answered. Is it possible to draw on top of a scripture as an overlay via remote show? Via remote show. You wouldn't need to do remote show. You can just do control show. And so if we go back to connection, if I turn on control show and I go to that, let me see if I can share my screen real quick. Hold on. All right. So with the controller, I'll pull this up. This is on my computer. So I'm gonna do my MacBook screen so you guys can see my screen there. This is what the control show looks like. You can select this. And so now I can see my screen and I can just move my highlighter over it. And that's what people are gonna see in FreeShow. Okay. I can change it from focus mode to a pointer or paint. So I can paint and say I want to put underline up under this, and it's there. Then I can go back to my this here, and I can go back there, go to the next slide, and turn that on. And it automatically keeps that line there until you clear it out by hitting this little X. And then it'll make it go away. So yes, you can draw, but it's not through remote show, it's through control show. And it'll give you the preview of the actual screen there. That can be on your device, like an iPad or something like that, or a phone. All right. So that's how remote show works. And I think that's a really cool question for those who want to do that. If you want to draw over your show, you can do that. You also can do that up here in FreeShow. So let me make sure you guys can see my screen here. In FreeShow, you can go up here to this option in the top right corner, right next to settings, and it functions as the same idea. I can draw on top of this and circle things in the program. Okay. And then you can also clear your drawing down here at the bottom right, and it goes away. But you can set up all kinds of cool things. So if you wanted to draw on this, you could, or you can give it to somebody like that. You can give them that link to that connection for control show on their phone, and they can use it to highlight different things or point, right? They can make a pointer show up, and so they can use something like that, and they can make it be that way. You can make the opacity be bright or low. You can do, you can make it not hollow. So I can make it be where it's not hollow, right? You can make it to where it's not a hold and it's just always active. And so you can see it up there in the top right where I'm moving my mouse. You can see that that's there. And then I can go over here and I can say I want it to glow. You'll see it kind of has a little bit of a glow to it. You can change the opacity, which I think is really cool. So I can make it be at a 3, and you'll see it's a little bit lighter, right? But it's still functional, okay? So that's a really cool feature. The radius, you can change the size of it if you want to. Let me see, does it go bigger, like 200? The biggest is 100. So let's go 50. Oh, that's not even what I was doing. That's so the radius has to do with the actual circularity of it. But if I made it be 1, it would just be a square. That's pretty cool. I didn't even know that. So let's go to 100, and then we'll go to the size. That's what I was looking at. So I can make that be 200, and it'll be even bigger. Okay. And I can change that color to be yellow, and we'll make the opacity be 7. So now you'll see this yellow. Looks like a little yellow moon floating around on here, right? And you can use that, and you can do the same thing with the control show remote connection on the network. Got to be on the network to do it, but you can do it, or you can do it from the back by going up here to the top, right? And then to turn it off, I'm not sure how to turn this off. What I need to do, I need to just go back to show maybe. Yeah, just go to show, and it deactivates that drawing pad. Okay. I'm gonna turn off my toggle timeline. Let's see here. Great question, by the way, you guys. Chris, I feel bad, man. I wish I could help you more with those questions you had. You guys are too smart for me in terms of musical abilities. And so I'm not going to act like I can answer that really well, but check out those MIDI options and just make a MIDI network on your computer, and it'll run over the network. So your whatever you're running AutoPad on, I guess you could be running it from your computer. It can trigger it. So it'll be on the same network because it's on the same computer. And then you can trigger it from FreeShow with just making an action. What do I call it? Chris something? I thought I did. I don't know if I might not have saved it. Oh no, I think I called it auto, right? No? Yeah, AutoPad test. You'll take that and just drag it on, right, onto an actual slide. Oh, it didn't go. AutoPad test. There we go. So you'll see it drop on right there, and you'll see it on there on that action. You can drag it anywhere else you want to if you want to do something somewhere else. I don't necessarily know that it'll make sense. Let's see, why are these so big? This is new. Advanced transition slides. So this it's dragging up fully long. That's kind of crazy. Cool but crazy. Or crazy but cool. I don't know what the wording is, but yeah. All right. Chris says it's hard to explain via chat as well. Yeah, no, it's not you, buddy. It's me. Believe me, it's just me. If I had more musical background, it would click and it would make sense to me. I just don't have it. I don't have that musical background. So I can't wait to connect with somebody. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to connect with you in Guatemala unless you can bring me down. But I got to figure out somebody locally that uses some of those tools and we can connect and do some tutorials and some testing out and stuff like that. Okay. Let's see. Let me go into any other updates that we looked at on that 1.653 beta. And so we tested all these. The DBs is awesome. The network output audio meter is unbelievable. And the RTMP multi-destination streaming to be determined. I got to test it out. But the thing that helps me test it out better is because now I can do some of these things. So I can change my hardware encoding on my computer now. So it can be a hardware encoder and not just a software encoder or a CPU encoder. I guess it's software. Yeah. Which is going to be really cool. Yeah, Zoom or FaceTime will work. Potentially. Send me an email. Send me an email for that. Larry Sweeting says car pad. What's that, Larry? What's a car pad? I'm not sure what it is. I've never heard of it. But these updates here, microphone stay active on clear all, microphone actions. I haven't even looked at that yet. Let's go back real quick. So if I go to new action, actually, I'm just going to test on one I already did. Let's go to AutoPad test. So I don't keep adding more actions. So I'm going to do edit. If I do add, all right, it's going to probably be under all. So I'm not going to see anything here, but it'll probably be under audio. Oh no, here we go. Start microphone or stop microphone. It's there. Let me see if there's any more to it. Oh, there's audio down here. So we got the start and stop mic. If I do that, it'll give you the option to pick a device. That is crazy cool. Ooh, crazy cool. I don't know who requested that. It might have been me. I don't know if I requested it or not. Christopher, keep me honest. Whoever requested that though, that's a really nice idea. All right. Okay. King Salamoin. Welcome, my friend. Let me know where you joined us from. Says, brother, I am editing templates and it is having different sections in a single slide. Different sections in a single slide. Please help. King Solomon, please let me know where you're joining us from. So he's editing templates, or they're editing templates, and it's having different sections in a single slide. First of all, make sure you have one of the latest versions. So make sure you got 164 as the latest full version is available. That's going to be important. I'm using 165 beta 3, so it won't be 1-to-1, but oh, okay, thanks. It said car pad. It probably was like a autocorrect or something like that is my guess. But thanks, Larry. You on top of it, bro. I appreciate that. All right, so King Solomon is saying, okay, and then from India, welcome my friend from India. They're trying to work on their templates, all right? And so what'll happen is if you got multiple text boxes, let's say, we'll call them text boxes for now, in one template. The thing that I would make sure of is check your templates, King Solomon, and say, okay, using the new one. Check your templates, and what I would do in your template is edit the template. So right click on your template to edit it, and do me a favor. Let me see. I'm gonna go to scriptures. These usually have multiple. All right. So this one has 2 text boxes. I'm gonna right click on this one and edit it. You're gonna see this text box and that text box. If I go over here to my arrow to the right, you're gonna see the layers or the arrangements. Okay. So my scripture is at the top, and that's like my reference, and then big is at the top here, or it's on the second layer, right? So 1 and 2 layers at the bottom right there. And I might move my head out the way. Excuse me. And that didn't do anything. Let me do this real quick. Hold on. Okay, that did something there. Turn it back on and off. Okay, cool, cool. All right, when I'm in studio mode in OBS, it doesn't show if it took that or not. All right, so your layers, from my experience, they're going to be important on each of your templates you're toggling between, okay? So if you switch to a new template and you got your scripture reference on layer 2, it may impose those or transpose those. So let's go to here and see. I'm going to go to scripture, and I'm going to add a new scripture, and we'll do this here. I'm going to make it into converting it to a show. It defaults to my main template called called scripture. So we'll test this out. I'm gonna go to my templates, and I'm gonna look to my scripture templates. Okay, so I got a whole category for scriptures, and I'm looking for the one that's default. It's highlighted here already. So let's right click on that one, and let's see the order of those options. So I got my scripture number, scripture text, my scripture reference, and scripture name. Those are all new. Okay, I say new. Those are a newer way to lay out your scripture text on some of the later updates. So if I go back, hit the little arrow over, this one right here is the reference. It's on box number 2, or box number 1. I'm sorry. It's on layer 1. And then this one, when I select it, it's on layer 2. Okay. Very similar to what my other template was. So I go back to show and I select my big box. Everything stays the same. Okay. Click that one. Everything is going the same way. So I'll go here and let you guys see it big. All right. So when I select this one, everything stays the same. Nothing really updates in terms except the size. But the text for the scriptures here, the reference is down there. I can hit this one again, and it looks the same, just a little bit different font and all that kind of stuff. But what happens if I edit this and I toggle those layers? Okay, so I'll change the order of this. So I'm gonna pull this one up. So now my big box with the actual words of the scripture are on the top layer. Okay, let's see what happens when I toggle between them now. I'm gonna go back to show. We got our show here, right? Select that. Check out what happened. It made Genesis 1-2 in the NLT be in the big box where my scripture text is supposed to be, and my reference section now has the full verse built into it, right? If I go back, it brings it right back. Okay. So what I found is with the templates, scripture templates are going to be the most important for this, but you need to do this if you're going to have other ones as well. You want to make sure that you check that layer order or that arrangement order. Oh, that's not what you meant. Okay. What else you got? Tell me more. I might have misunderstood your question. Okay. While I wait on that one from King Solomon, it says, this is also says, now I just thought of another way to use FreeShow, remote show, as a way to have people follow the slides during service via QR code, since there are a few blind spots in our sanctuary. To use FreeShow remote show as a way to have people follow the slides. Nice. Okay. Very cool. Okay. Let's see what King Solomon's saying. He said, when I'm putting lyrics from the template of a fade, I choose the fade template, and now when I add the lyrics, suppose it has 5 slides, and when I choose slide, it is giving me 2 or 3 outputs. Ooh, okay. So we got a little bit of a barrier on the terminology here. So let's figure out what you're saying. I'm putting lyrics from a template of fade. Okay, I choose the fade template, and now when I added the lyrics, suppose it has 5. I'm thinking you're probably talking about 5 lines, but you might be talking about 5 slides. When I choose a slide, it is giving me 2 or 3 outputs. All right, let's see if we can figure this out. So this is lyrics. So we're gonna go to a song. Let's see if we can troubleshoot this. Trusting God. Okay, I got a song here. All right. from a slide one. When you say 2 or 3 outputs, do you mean you have to click it 2 or 3 times to get through the whole slide? I'm gonna go to my templates and I'm gonna pick that fade template under songs. Really nice template, by the way. Let's see here. Where's it at? Fade. Here we go. So I can select fade. Now my fade template, I right clicked on this just as FYI, you guys. I went to it and I made it auto shrink to fit, auto size shrink to fit. That's why all my text automatically fits. Suppose we have slide 1, slide 2, and so on. When I click on slide 1, okay, 2 or 3 outputs from a slide 1. All right. All right. So we got, suppose we have a slide 1, slide 2, and so on. So I got slide 1, slide 2. All right. When I click on slide 1, boom, it says, when I add the lyrics, suppose it has 5 slides. And when I choose a slide, it's giving me 2 or 3 outputs. This is where I get lost. So tell me more about what it does. When you pick slide 1, what happens, King Solomon? Let me know. That's where I'm getting lost here. So what I'm hearing him say is he's having an issue with his template. So the first thing is this, is to select your template. Sometimes what people tend to do is they'll drag this template onto a slide, okay? You don't have to do that, all right? You can simply just click the template and it'll automatically apply to everything. From slide 1, it gives me 2 or 3 outputs. 2 or 3 outputs. What do you mean outputs? Because the output is this over here. This is one output over here. The actual screen is an output, right? So if I go to my settings, are you talking about these kind of outputs? Like an actual primary output, a stage output, and things like that? Let me know what you mean by the word outputs, King Solomon. This is going to be important. And so if you guys understand what he's saying too, let me know. Feel free to jump in the chat and jump in. But we're going to try to help our friend from India here figure this out, because he's running into an issue where he's using templates, which is great, right? Templates are really helpful. But the main thing to understand too, I think could be the challenge, is maybe your templates, some of them were dragged onto a slide and others were not. And so it may be multiple templates on one show, right? So this whole song is called one show, called I Trust in God. Okay, it says when I click the slide, it divides the slides in 2 or 3 sections automatically. Okay, so let me see here. So it sounds like maybe it's doing something like that. Like you picked a template that has multiple. Let me see if I do this one. Did you pick a template that has multiple text boxes in it? To 2 or 3 sections automatically. I'm guessing you're talking about something like this, to where it looks like that, right? That has to do with, potentially, and you just correct me where I'm wrong, but that has to do with if your template that you use has multiple text boxes in it, but you only have one text box on your text. It's not going to do anything special, but it's going to be from a template that has multiple text boxes. So it's looking to say, I'm going to put some text here and I'm going to put some text there, but you only got one set of text. So it's still going to pop up these multiple text boxes. So the question I have is, how many, if it's lyrics, usually you'll just have one, but if you have multiple languages, excuse me, you'll have 2. There's one text box, but it automatically makes sections. Okay. So let's go to your songs category under templates. And let's go to that fade. I'm gonna select that. It automatically should update. When you select that fade template for all, it'll just be on the show that you want. Select that fade template. It should apply to all of them. I mean, see, I will explain more, okay? Because my guess is you might have done something like this, where you went to a slide and you just drag the template onto it. My drag and dropping is not working as well as I like. I don't know why. Let me see what's going on here. My groups, they're not locked. Anybody else run into this with 165 beta 3? The drag and drop is just really weird right now for some reason. Okay, that worked. This one does not. I'm not sure why. Okay, it works now. Not sure why. Okay. Click the slide, and then remember it has one text box. Okay. So I'll explain more. The slide has 5 lines. Okay. And when I click the slide to make it come in, maybe is what you mean. And remember, it has one text box only. Okay. And so the other thing that you could be running into, my friend, go to your settings and go to your styles. Double check the style that you're using for your current output. It should have a checkbox next to it. I got mine's checkbox here. My default is on. You may have set this to have a max number of lines of 1, 2, or 3. So if I say I want to just have one line, okay, I'm gonna close this out. I'll go back to my show and let me clear these extra. Don't need those. I'm gonna make everything be on a fade. Let's see if we can duplicate your issue. All right. So mine looks like this. When I selected it, I selected that slide, select this slide, and it just highlights this one there. But if I go to settings, I got max lines per slide, but I also have this show is faded. So I'll turn it off, right? This is probably what yours was. Yours is probably turned off. Let's see here. And then I'll say one line, close it out. Let's go back. Let's go here. So it may just show one line there, but you got 5 slides there, 5 lines. So you have to click it 5 times or 4 times to see each part. Okay, so it says then it automatically when the select the slide one, it will show the first 2 lines, and later again, if I click the slide, it will show the next 2 lines. Yeah. Okay, I didn't even look at that to see that. I think Mark saw the same thing. I thought the same thing. So that's going to be a part of where you set up your style, right? So in your settings, you got it set to block out. So you'll see that little I'll make this a little bit bigger. You'll see this little box around it. So I can select this and it's going to just do one line at a time because my style that I edited my style. This is a default style, but I made it say, hey, I want to just show one line per slide. Okay. And it says born of his spirit, but I got 4 other lines here. So I can hit my arrow to the right, or I can click on this slide again, and it's only going to go one line at a time. All you do is go to your settings, go to your styles on the top left. So yours was in all the slide. Okay. Thank you, bro. Okay. Okay. So if you go here and it says all lines, that should be good. So you got it, I think. So that sounds like. Yep, I was just typing that. Sounds like the lyrics are longer and there's a progress bar. Okay. Perfect. I think we figured it out. This is what the community's for. So Mark was on top of it. Osa was thinking the same thing. So ultimately, you guys, this is a really powerful tool. So that thing that he's run into, really nice. And so King Solomon, I would say consider doing that. You can set it to where it's one line at a time, but go to that more options and make it show as faded, right? And it'll give you a whole different feel, right? Change the opacity. I like mine's at 20, but when you do that, now you'll still see all the lines like this. You'll still see all the lines, but it'll go through and highlight one line at a time. For you, if you don't want it to highlight any of this or block out anything, I would just make it show all of them. You shouldn't have a problem with it if you say show all. But like I said, I like that setup where it does do the faded look with 1 or 2 lines per slide so that the audience can sing along. It does mean more clicks for you or your volunteer, okay? But you want to change that option. I would say all lines. But if you say, hey, I want to limit it to 4, you're still going to run into the issue where you might have to click a slide twice if it has more than 4 lines. Does that make sense? Now, with this latest version, what I would say, if you say, hey, I want to make sure it's all 4, that's fine. You can do that. But you want to make sure that when you edit your shows, go up here to the text edit option and look and make sure you don't have any more than 4 lines in your breakouts, okay? And so this one, there's that one. And so these are all together in one slide. But if I say I want to have no more than 4, that's fine. All these are going to be broken up in 4 because I think when I made this, I had to be no more than 4. But these are super long lines. So I might say, hey, I want these to be individual. So I can hit enter here. And that line break right there makes this be a separate slide. So you can edit in the text edit option under the edit page to break those out to be separate by simply just hitting enter there, okay? Yeah, so if you want to show all of them, just say show all. It should do it when you say show all. So go back to your settings under styles and just choose that max number of slides there. So if I just go here and I just close it out, make it to where there's nothing in there and it just defaults to being all lines, okay? It should default to that. So I turned it off. And so now when I do mine, it shows all the lines all at once, okay? Thanks for being patient with us as we help figure that out for you, my friend. All right, let's go back in. Let's see here. Look and see. Oh, border radius is working on cropped media. This is one that's a big deal. So double click media cropping for overlays is good. Okay, so let's go back in here. I'm gonna check something real quick for my overlays. I was doing a test. Let's do this one. This is my a super source. Okay, I don't care about that. Let me see. I was doing a test to try to recreate something. So I'll do this one, camera only test. We'll say edit. And so for this, I can double click it now and I can actually crop it wherever and however I want to. And this is just an overlay and it's a camera feed. Double click again and I'll pull this down. And I want that to be there. All right. And then I say, hey, I want to change this. Let me make this be a little bit wider or narrower. Okay. So I got that. And I want to add a radius to it. Let's see what that looks like. Check that out, you guys. You can make a whole circle radius here. So now I can bring this in. Let me do that and bring this in a little bit. So it'll be a circle around my face. And this was just me playing around with the setup there so that I could recreate what it would be like to have my my current setup. Oh, I got to make sure I bring this down the right way so it doesn't stretch it in a weird way. So I can do that. And I can now recreate what I do in OBS by clicking on this, but I got this set to go to a certain output. So let me fix that real quick. Let me go to my edit. So this one is set to a defined output, but now it's not. So now I can click on that and it's set to go up under, which is really cool. It goes under the slide text. This is crazy. All right, so, and I think, yeah, it's not, oh, it is my webcam. So it's my webcam. Let me angle it right. All right, so this is my webcam right now. And I've got it set to where I can live stream with a little circle. Let's see here. The stream save me. Okay. I want to show all of them. Okay. The stream is a little bit laggy, bro. Oh boy, is this flaking out again? I don't have a error message on my end. It says it's excellent feed, but bear with me. The video audio is superb. Okay. But it's just laggy. All right. Sorry about that. But this is one of those updates that came with 1.6.5 beta 3 to where you can now make your overlays be the radius of them be changed to where you can put a circle overlay. You can do this with your pastor, your leaders. So I can go into this one, for example. This is a, let me turn that one off. You can have your setup. This is getting crazy. You can have your setup be your camera, and then you can make this be rounded edges. That's what I was thinking about. I just like the idea of rounded edges. So I can go here, go to items, and I can say, hey, I want to change the corner radius to be a little bit rounded, and it changes that radius. That is so clean. All right. So it makes that the background, not the background, but that actual output for the overlay be rounded. And then you can make a template that puts all your slide text on the left, or you can make a template that has the video feed and that. Yeah, this is crazy. All right. So I made a template a while back that shows, I think it was called camera lower thirds. Let me see what I made. It's on my website now. Game shows lower third. I might have already deleted it out of here, but I made a template that had a camera, and that I might have to update and make some new ones because this is crazy cool. So I can clear that overlay out. but you can do that, I believe, with the template. So I haven't tested it out. Let me see. Let me make sure I'm looking at this right. In the lab, we'll do it in the lab, and I'll make a new one called camera and text. And I'm making a new template to just test out this new feature. All right. So if I go to the plus sign down here, I'm gonna add in a text box. I want this text box to be over to the right, or to the left, I mean. And I want it to go, I'll keep it like this. I like that. And I want to have this video feed be right over it. And so I'm gonna have add some media. And I want this media to be a background media. So I'm gonna say choose media. It's popping up something here. And I'm gonna go to, oh, I think it's in my documents, my free show stuff. Did I put YOLO box in here? I got a YOLO box movies. I think it's in my movies. Let me see. Movies? No. Where'd I put that? Oh, come on. There we go. It's right there. I don't know why I didn't pull it. Okay. So I'm gonna find a background real quick. This is video backdrops that I've got. I'll do this orange motion background. All right. So I got this orange motion background. What I'm gonna do is I'm going to move this up to fill the whole background. I'm gonna put a camera on the side. Camera feed, I should say. All right. So I got that. I need to arrange the order. So I'm gonna go over here to the right. We're going to move this down. All right. So I got my text there, and I'm gonna put the video camera in next. So I'm gonna put the plus sign and select camera. And I'm gonna go to the camera options on the right, and it's gonna say choose the camera you want. And this time I'm gonna pick my USB camera, and I'm gonna double click it, and I'm gonna crop it. So I'm gonna just select this and crop this part in, so it's not gonna be full screen. And so it'll be kind of a narrow version of the camera. Uh-oh. All right, got that there. And now I can arrange this to be there, but I want it to have rounded sides. So I'm gonna make this be item, corner radius, rounded, just to kind of give it a nice little professional feel. And I'll double click it again. I want it to be a little bit more narrow, something like that. And I'll click out of it, and I'll pull this over. So now I got that, and I'll just pull this right up next to it. Something like that, okay? And then for the text, I'm gonna put a radius on this though. So my text box has some, but a padding. I'm gonna put some padding on it so the text doesn't come all the way out to my face, all right? So now we got that. I keep clicking out of it and it's selecting that thing right there. All right, so let's go to the show now. This is my template. It shows and it looks like that. I'm gonna go ahead and select this template. Let's see what it does. Boom. Now that is fun. All right, so this is showing the template. And I think I got it set shrink to fit, but that text box is super long, super wide. So let me check that real quick. Let me go here and edit. And let's make it be, if I bring that up like that, it doesn't do anything. Yeah, this is where I would probably do that setup to where I would say, hey, I want this to be a certain number of lines. I say I'll do like one line at a time. I'm gonna do show is faded. Oh, set a custom value. That's fine. Show is faded. That's good. Actually, I don't want to show is faded. I want it to just be there, right? Just one line. And so now when I do it, you'll see it just shows up like that. And you can go through it. And this is what the audience is going to see. They're just going to see those words there. You might have your worship leader, a close up of them on the camera or something like that. That's the idea. Okay. That to me is super cool. All right. Let's see here. Okay. King Solomon said he's got to go. God bless everyone. It's actually 11 o'clock. Oh, wow. At night in India. Bless you, my friend. Bless you. All right, you guys. I've been playing around with this a lot. What questions come to mind that I didn't get to answer for you guys? I know we're already running behind on time. I'm going to go through some of the questions that came in the community. on my YouTube feed and see what we can do from there real quick. And if I want to change this, I'm gonna change this back and I'll test this stuff out later on. We might do some of that stuff in the lab later on. I'm gonna change this to blur box. I like my blur box. When I click that, it automatically updates and it's there. Okay. And I can change my default back to where it's not going to do that. So we just turn that off. And now all the text shows up there. All right. In the community, we had some questions. And let's go back to 7 days ago. Okay. Hey, Gary, is there a way to clear a particular output like a slide like primary or live individually? Now, when I do clear, it goes out on all of my outputs. So he was trying to do a clear all, and it was clearing out everything. And I said, for that, I would make a custom action that will toggle, lock the one output you don't want to be cleared as the first step. And then the second step of the action would be to add a clear all. The third part of the same action would be to add the toggle lock for the output we locked earlier. Okay. And that's just going to lock one, clear all, and then unlock it. And it's going to be there. It says now you can select that action whenever you want to just clear your primary output. Let's see, and leave the other active invisible. And they said, this is Jokin Samuel, 2016 says, thanks. I can make this for primary or live, but the toggle lock is not showing the stage output. Oh, it says the toggle lock is not showing the stage output. All right, let me see if I can figure that out. In the audio settings? Okay, wait a minute. Christopher just pointed out something. In here, in the audio settings. Oh, he's talking about up here in the settings, in audio now. If I go to microphones, oh, that is nice. You can literally turn these on and off from here, whereas before you had to go out and then turn them on. This is just playlist, so that one makes total sense. But the microphones now can be turned on and off inside of here. I love that. Very good point, Christopher. Anybody got any ideas for our friend Jokin Samuel about his question about how to clear out one output and not the other? Let me know in the comments if you got an idea of how he can clear out one output and not the other. When he does clear all, it just clears out everything, right? And so my thought was but he's talking about his stage display, and I'm not sure. So he says, I can make this for primary and live, but the toggle lock is not showing the stage output. Okay. So what I think he's trying to do is he's trying to keep his stage output active and working properly, but not interfere maybe with a certain output, like make one output be gone on the screen, but the stage still be there. Ooh wee, my friend. Ooh wee. There's a lot of options with that I can think of. The first thing that comes to mind though is potentially let's set up a couple outputs and let me set up a couple of these. So we'll do NDI, we'll do primary as well. I'll turn that on. All right, so I got two outputs and he also had a stage. So I'll toggle on my worship stage. So I got all these on. And what is going on there? Okay, let me go over to my stage. That is hilarious. What is that stage output doing? It's the worship stage, so it should be down at the bottom. What is this called? Let me see what this stage output is called. It's called scripture stage. Okay, scripture stage. Let's see where it is. Here it is. Okay. So this right here is a text box. This right here is, let me see what we got. Okay, so this is next slide. This is current slide. This one is current slide as well. Oh, so I got two current slides in here for some reason. And next slide. Oh, I know what I did. This one actually is designed to just show a certain item number, and this one is designed to show another item number. Really good for scriptures, but not good for worship. So I'm gonna change this to be my worship. So I'll say stage layout, and I'll pick a different one. Let's do the worship stage. And that's a really cool feature as well, by the way, where it lets you just right click on it and change that layout. So now my stage output looks like this, which is really cool. I love that. Okay. So we got the layout, okay, of what our friend Joaquin Samuel was talking about. Multiple outputs, and we want to clear one, but not the other. Okay. So to clear one and not the other, if you right click on this, it doesn't, let's say hide output content. Just right click on it and hide the output content. That would do it. And it doesn't affect that. You right click on it again and do that. I think that's what I would do. Just hide the output content. Let's go and tell him that. So this is at, we've been on for I would say 225. All right. Let's test this out. So right now on my free show screen, let me go into studio mode so you guys can see what I'm talking about here. I'll go to free show and then I'll go to my MacBook so you guys can see what's going on. And so my free show right now is set to be showing NDI 1. Okay. So NDI 1 is right here. If I right click on that and say hide output screen, it makes it go black and it clears out that one output. That's exactly what I think he needs. So that was a quick and easy answer. No need for a special action. And then you just come back and go to your right screen, right click again and select unhide, and it'll automatically come back. So if I go back to my free show, there it is right there. Okay. So let's go back to my right screen again so you guys can see. Let's look and see what our next question is. This was related to Free Show Friday Q&A from last week, and this one as well. And this is Randall Parafan 4482 says, "Thanks, Gary." I just gave him a heart, and I'll just say you are very welcome. All right, Mr. Terry Ray says, "Thanks, Gary, for another great Free Show Friday." This was last week as well. Mr. Terry Ray, I'm glad you enjoyed it. If you're still on, you get to hear it both ways. Big shout out. Then we got Ben Martin 562 says, "From Central Appalachia, thanks so much for the tutorials. Our church has just begun with Free Show. It was the easiest." Let me put my face back up. But it was the easiest program to move into without feeling like we were starting over. We had some hiccups as expected, but without these tutorials, I'm sure there would have been many, many more. And so he was going through and looking at the part 2 of church setup, setting up styles and templates in Free Show. Told him I'm super excited. And then we got Jose Amavizca, and this is related to using MIDI outputs. He said, "We use Prime multi-tracks in Free Show. Have you done something where you automate lyrics changes via MIDI or some other way? Meaning when a specific multi-track is triggered, then Free Show starts that song and it changes the lyrics on the screen." I said, "I have not, but only because I don't have multi-tracks. If you're interested in connecting the setup, reach out on my website." And this is something I would tell anybody. I would love to have like a Zoom meeting or something like that where we can have like a one-on-one time to talk through those, because that would be really cool to walk through and make a tutorial for that. So if anybody uses multi-tracks or AutoPad and you got some time, just reach out to me on my website and we'll just set up a time offline to connect. Osa says, "I wonder, is it possible to annotations?" Oh yeah, so we did the annotations already. Great question, my friend. I don't remember when we answered that, but we did answer it live on Free Show Friday. I wish I knew the time. I just don't know it. I know he'd already asked that. All right, Larry says, "Is there a way to get NDI feed via OBS to read in Free Show so that Free Show can read my cameras to use as an overlay then I could use the RTMP to stream from FreeShow instead of OBS. Does that make sense? And to answer Larry's question, absolutely. And I'll just say, check out I'll just say this video. That's exactly what we did in FreeShow Friday. Let's go here. I'll just do a search for YouTube. And I'll just go to my channel. We'll say YouTube, view your channel. And we'll go to live camera lower thirds. I'm gonna just get a copy of this, share, come back here to my friend Larry and paste it in. This is gonna be for you and anybody else. That is a weird paste though. That's all it does. If I say copy, I don't think that was the right thing. Let me see. There we go. All right, we'll say reply. All right. And then thanks, this helps so much. This was about the basic beginner setup. If you guys haven't seen that and you want to go back to the basics, definitely check it out. And I'll just say glad it helped. That's from Joseph Kenyama. Really cool name. Okay. This one says, why I can't edit my stage monitor, sir? And this is a relation to the silent comms conversation. I said, have you downloaded the latest version of FreeShow? If so, the new items button was moved to the bottom. And they said, yes, we're using version 1.6.4. Why I can't edit my stage monitor? I'm not sure what, this is Renant Umbode. I'm not sure what they were asking there or how I can help them with that one. But then we got a comment live says, Swab Neil Bowers, how to connect two PC FreeShow software without cloud use. Ooh. How to connect two without cloud use. I don't know that you can connect them, but in terms of, are they on the same network? Let me know. Are they in the same network? That's a great question. But if they're on the same network, I would just do a connection setup. So this is to our friend Swab Neil Baware. Swab Neil Baware. And so if you wanted to connect to another computer, you can just go to settings and go to connection and turn on remote show. And then both computers will be seeing the same FreeShow setup. You can do that. Let me show you what it'll look like. Let me go here. I'll keep that on. I'll turn this on. And so I'm gonna go to here. This is what the other computer would see. Okay. So they would see something like this. And I got mine's password protected. So I'll go into here and put that in and hit submit. And it's thinking about it. Oh, wait, that's not gonna be the code. It's gonna be a different code. It's gonna be this one. 12334. I put the wrong code in. 12334. Submit. All right. So now this is what the other computer would see, and they would access this directly from the internet. Okay. So you would share that link with them. They have to be on the same network, but they'll be able to see all the shows here. And they'll be able to see all the shows here, all the projects up here in folders and all the shows here. They'll be able to see the overlays that we just made. For example, I just made this camera. Wait a minute. No, I made a template. Let me go to my templates. I'm like, wait a minute. I didn't know I had that camera one there. Was it this FreeShow Friday test? Nope. I think I did it in the lab. Yep. So I can select this and it'll adjust and change my entire show potentially. So if I go to FreeShow and close this, this is what it looks like. And so now I can go there and I can go to that show. So if I change it back, I'm gonna go back to my templates and see what happens if I change it and go to a slide. Okay. So I'm gonna change this to be big text. All right. So that's what it looks like there. On the web browser, I can go back and I'm gonna change it to be this one. And I'm going to, and it doesn't show the media right away, but I'm gonna go to a slide and let's see what happens in here. So it shows up like it's all black in my preview, but this is what the audience is going to see. They're going to see this. Okay. But I was controlling it from here. So I can go to the next slide. I trust in God, right? It shows that it changed. I'm going to act like this is a different computer on the same network though. And then here it says I trust in God. So it automatically shows up there. So that's how you would do it if you were on the same network. If you're on two different networks though, this is useful from India. No problem. God bless you, my friend. Yes. So if you want both of you guys to be able to control the same net setup, that would be the way to do it. Okay. Go to connections and then just do remote. And that basically gives you a remote control or remote access to FreeShow in a sense. Okay. Let's see here. We had some more questions here. This one I'm not sure of. This person was saying, why can't they edit their stage monitor? Renant, I'm bold. I wish I could help you with that one, my friend. So if you got the latest one, I'm not sure about that one. I need a little bit more information. This is T Chick Como talking about edit shows fast. They said, hey, bless you, friend. Oh, no, I said bless you. They said you're a blessing to the body of Christ. And I just said bless you. That's a blessing. Let's see here. George EP4ED says the problem I met the problem I was met with is that the PowerPoint animation effect didn't work when played in FreeShow. Can you help? And so I don't think the animations carry over from PowerPoint. If you're using PowerPoint, I don't think those animations are going to carry over. So you would have to go in and actually add your own transitions back into those particular items. Okay. Claude from Canada says, great presentation. FreeShow is growing more powerful every week. This is related to audio routing. In the lab, we did this Monday. And this was on Simplify the Service in the lab the week before last, I believe, or 2 weeks ago. And this is Annette Yaboa says, thanks for your tutorials, but I want to know if I can use the Bible show in the NDI. And my question to you guys in the community, is anybody using Bible show at all? I looked it up and I see Bible show and I can see the option to download Bible show. But what I would say is, I recommend, I'll just say, I'm not sure for one. I'm gonna say I'm not sure about that, but you can access scriptures directly from FreeShow in the scripture tab. And I misspelled this somehow. Let's see here. Okay. Awesome. All right. So those are all the comments and questions that came in for me on YouTube. We have been going on for a long time, almost 3 hours now. You guys, this might go on record as the longest FreeShow Friday ever. And this is all thanks to our friend Christopher, who made this long list of changes and updates in beta 3. All right. So the border radius is working. He added Canva shared projects are visible now, which is crazy cool. We haven't even touched all this stuff yet. I got to play with this a little bit more. Output window position. That one I need to check out. Outputs and then the window position. Let me go here and see what we got going on. The window. I got that. I can see change output values. There's the positions. So you can do that. You can also hold control over an active output window to manually drag it around. What? So you can hold control. Maybe it's option. Okay, let me click out of that. Let me see what that said again. Click on this. Oh, click on the screen where you want to display the output window. No, that's not where I hit change output. Let me see what else is here though. Okay, that's not anything different, I don't think, but I hit change output value in the position. It says you can also hold control or command over an active output window to manually drag it around. So I can do this, and he's saying I can hold command and move this. No. Change output windows. Okay. Command over an output window to manually drag it around. I don't know how to do that, Christopher. You got to let me know how to do that, man. I'm going to have to talk to you about that one separate. All right. But with all that being said, hopefully you guys were blessed by this and learned a lot and got some good info, some good tips. Bless you all for what you're doing in the body of Christ. I'm super excited for those who are learning and growing to use this program. Hopefully it's a blessing to you and your church family, your fellowship. If you are blessed by this, feel free to visit the Church App's website or the Free Show app, freeshow.app website, and make a donation. Like I said, this program is designed to save you time and money. And so if you have any room in your ministry or your organization to contribute back, feel free to do so. And that might be just making a video just thanking the organization. That would be more than useful, as there's a room to share that testimony across the board. As you can see, every time I open up with Free Show Friday, I try to share a testimony video from what we did in our year-end review last year. We'd love to have you join us on adding your video to do the same thing. Let's see here. Swamp Neil Bahaware says, how to connect the AI helper to Bible verses and song lyrics. Ooh, wee, brother, that's some coding stuff. I'm not sure about that one, but there are a few videos that I've already made about how to do quick searches, how to quickly search through it, but it's still you manually doing it. So you'd have to check those out on my channel. And then let's see it. The DG Bounja, DG Banja, Gibanja. Oh, I think I had it right one time. I remember we talked, you got on before. It says, just got in late. Oh man, good afternoon. Good afternoon, my friend. He said, I have encountered an issue with the scripture display for my online lower third output. Comes with a watermark that I can't get out. Interesting. Jabanga probably require for you to use it for free. Ooh, okay. So it's got a watermark, he's saying. So I'm guessing it's on one of the setups here. So let's go to some of my API Bibles. So I got regular Bibles. We'll do an API Bible here. Let's do, what is that? A Giga NT portion. Not sure what that is. I selected it on accident probably. I don't know how to speak that language. We'll do English majority. No, maybe it is. Let's see. No, it doesn't have anything extra with it. Holy Bible. I don't see any watermarks. Let me see here. Jibunza. Jibunza. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Nice. Okay. So both of you guys, how do I get that to create that myself? How do I recreate that issue? 'Cause I don't see a watermark at all. We say lower thirds. I'm guessing it would show up on either lower thirds or anywhere else. So NIV. Okay, let me go to get an NIV. So we got the reader's version and the regular version. I'll add both of those. Okay. Voila. Okay, so I got this here. Yep, I see what you're saying. So it is halfway transparent, showing at the bottom. Let me pull it back up. You'll see it. Oh, let me show my screen. So I can see it here. So Swab Nipple says, Swab Nipple says, Free Show is free, but add effect to Free Show watermark. Tell me what you mean, Swab Nipple. So I do see what you're saying there. Yeah, it's going to be there, buddy. That's a part of the process of it being available for free. Add effect to Free Show watermark. Yeah, that's for those certain Bibles that we had to, or that was needed to get that type of agreement to have access to that Bible, I think. So that makes sense. I get it. I get it. That makes total sense. So what you want to do is just kind of arrange your setup to where it'll flow around that watermark. So if I go to templates here and I change my template, let's say, I'm gonna go to one of my lower thirds and see what it looks like. So here's one here. So we select this one instead. Do I need to close that? Okay, it'll close on its own. So yeah, so what you would do is just change that layout to where this is just a little bit higher, right? So just raise everything up just a little bit so you can still have that watermark at the bottom. And it only does it on certain Bibles. Like I said, I clicked through about 4 of them and they didn't have it on there, but the NIV, that was a part of that agreement. Any future Bibles that may be that popular may have a similar setup as well, like New Living Translation. I would love to have that. I don't think that's a part of the online Bibles or API Bibles, but there are some other ways you can get it through XML files and make them local Bibles. Okay. All right, you guys, I got to go and I got to go do some grocery shopping. Actually, I don't need to go eat. I already had a good breakfast, but I need to get some grocery shopping done. Bless you guys. Have a great rest of the day, and stay tuned for future videos. And let me know if you run into any other questions that you have. Just ask them in the chat, and I'll be happy to do my best to answer them. Thank you for watching this video. I really hope it helped you in a major way. Now, at this point, most people would ask you to like and subscribe, and I think that's great. But my goal is a little bit different. My goal is to empower as many people as possible all over the globe. And there's one way that you can really help me do that, and that is to leave a comment below with a question, a thought, how this video may have helped you, or things that were left out that you still have questions about, and to share this video with someone just like you, someone who is looking for answers, someone who's curious and wants to grow. With your help, I believe we can build a community of people that want to grow together. So until next time, God bless.